Now, this is case number 65 on the calendar in the matter of Dady versus Dickerson. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Dady, where did you meet Mr. Dickerson?
At a club.
When?
Around Thanksgiving time of 2000.
When did two of you start to date?
Shortly thereafter.
Did you ever live together?
Yes.
When?
That's a lie, Your Honor. She wanted me to live with her.
When?
He lived with me the first time he moved in. I had had a really bad truck accident, and I was in a cast, had 3 pins in my right wrist. So he moved in with me to help take care of me.
When?
In January of 2000.
No, that was 2001.
Excuse me, 2001, he's correct.
For about 3 weeks.
That's not living with you, that's staying with you to help you.
Correct.
Did you ever live together in an apartment that you shared where you paid joint rent?
We lived together, correct, but
I was never
always
on the lease with her, Your Honor.
But Mr. Dickerson, listen to me, sir.
She's lying.
Mr. Dickerson, I'm going to say this one more time, sir. I ask questions, you answer questions. If you choose to talk to each other and shout at each other, then you can do that outside. Inside, I run a very orderly, organized place. You got it?
Got it.
Good. Got what question I asked? Remember, such a lecture. I got my question. I can always backtrack. Okay. 2001, in January of 2001, he stayed with you for 3 weeks. Did you ever share an apartment together, even if you paid the rent?
Excuse me, he didn't live with me for 3 weeks. It was approximately 3 to 4 months. It was about 3 weeks after we had met that he moved in.
Okay, so he was helping you out for 3 or 4 months.
Correct. And all of his belongings were there, I mean clothing-wise.
Okay, then he moved out.
I asked
3 or
him
4
to.
months, you asked him to move out.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you ask him to move out?
Well, I came home from a business trip to find a cute little blonde sitting on my couch.
Okay, so that was in 2001.
Yes, ma'am.
And he moved out, but that didn't end the relationship because according to your complaint, the first loan you made to him was in 2003.
No, ma'am. The first loan that I made to him was in April of 2001, which was when he had asked me to lend him $440.
Miss Dady, give me the dates of the loans that you claim Mr. Dickerson made.
Okay, the first one was to pay...
2001, $400. To pay for what?
$440 to pay probation fees so he wouldn't have to go to jail the next morning.
Okay. What's next?
Then we broke up, and then he called me again 2 years later. Said that he had been born again, he'd done his probation, he had gone to rehab. In 2004 is when I loaned him the $900. He was having to go to work about 30 miles from our residence, and he was driving my BMW, and I didn't want him driving it any longer, so he had said that he had this car that he needed to get fixed, so could I give him the $900 to get it fixed, which I agreed upon.
Okay, what's next?
Then about 3 weeks later, he had gone for an interview at a pretty prestigious dealership and supposedly supposed to be offered a general manager job, which was supposed to be paying him netting $10,000 to $12,000 a month. Well, he wanted to have nice clothes and he wanted to have a nice car. And besides that, he didn't go and pick the Volvo up. Well, about 2 weeks later...
What do you mean he didn't go pick the Volvo up? I don't understand what
because it wasn't fixed, but I was unaware of that. So
you gave him $900 to fix the car and he never went and got the car?
Correct. So I went to the place that he had left it at and actually talked to the owner. And the owner told me that he had in fact, called his sister and left several messages in Galveston.
Okay, but he never went to pick up the car.
Correct.
So he had your $900 and they had his old car.
Exactly.
Got it. So then he needed nice clothes.
He needed some nice clothes and then a nice car. So it was our agreement that he was going to pay for the clothes. I was going to give him $1,800 for a down payment on a Camry.
So did you do that?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So you gave him $1,800?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
The $900 was on 1/29 and the $1,800 was on 2/10.
What's next?
Then on Valentine's Day, he had been kind of whining about needing a cell phone because he has to make all these business calls and everything.
Whatever. You got him a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am. Our agreement was that I pay for the phone as a gift to him, and then he's going to pay the deposit and then be responsible for the monthly bills.
Well, so you were buying him that as a gift?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm not suing for that. But the $125 deposit, which I had to pay that day in order to get the phone activated, I paid.
What else?
Then he just did not pay the cell phone bills. What had actually happened...
So just a minute. So they didn't pay the cell phone bills, they turned off the cell phone, and what happened? You lost your deposit?
No, actually what ended up happening is I had the phone activated on the 15th of February.
Had it turned off on the 17th.
I had it turned off on the 26th.
You turned it off. So what happened?
Yes, ma'am. He somehow called Sprint and had the phone turned back on because I understood he was making drug calls. And I know nothing about any of that. I've never even seen one, let alone done one.
I don't know what else you want
Well,
with
she
regard to the cell phone. Just tell me what you're suing for with regard to the cell phone.
The 2 monthly bills, the February and the March bill, that he's responsible for.
Well, why
I
is
put
it on your bill?
It's not. He has a separate billing.
So?
That indicates his phone. Our agreement is that he was going to be responsible for the monthly bills.
Just a second. He was going to be responsible, but you put it on your account.
Correct.
It's amazing to me. I can understand it when somebody is, 21 years old and stupid, but you're a grown woman.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Mr. Dickerson, now I'll hear you, sir. She wants to hold all this money from you.
Okay, Your Honor, all this is she wanted me to stay there.
Listen to me. Just start with the probation fees.
She gave me the money for the probation fees. I went down and paid, came back. A couple of months later, I decided to move out on my own because I wasn't ready for that type of relationship, and she never did understand that. And she would always try to buy me and control me with that way. That's why she turned off the cell phone
That's
3 days later after she got it.
Don't interrupt him.
That's why she turned off
Let's get to the $900 she gave you to fix you a Volvo.
And I bought the Volvo.
You bought the Volvo?
Yes, I did.
Well, I understand that, but then it broke down, and you said you needed to have it fixed.
The car's still running. No. My cousin's still using it.
No.
Don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
But then she gave you another $1,800 for a Camry.
Now, think about this, Your Honor.
No. I'm just asking you.
Okay.
What was the $1,800 for?
Because she wanted me to look good.
Drugs.
Shh. Miss,
I'm sorry.
When I can,
don't say you're sorry again, because I'm going to throw you out.
if I owed you all this money, why would you continue to loan me money if I owed it to you?
You're absolutely right, Mr. Dickerson. That's the only smart thing you just said to me. That's my question. Why would an intelligent, mature woman keep giving you money when starting in 2001 you never paid her a dime back, and she just kept giving you money and giving you money and giving you money? And I have to wonder whether there was ever a legitimate expectation that you were going to get any of this money back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you think that she's bothering you?
Yes.
And later today,
They wouldn't let me do traffic school if you already did it in the last 18 months.
And you had done it in the last 18 months?
Yeah.
Because you had another speeding ticket?
You know, because I had my accident.
Sounds to me like you're an accident looking to happen.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janet Dady says ex-boyfriend Jimmy Dickerson owes for 2 car loans and a cell phone. Jimmy says Janet was trying to control him with money.
It would seem to me that a woman like you would know after 4 years that he's a taker. And any money that you give to him is like throwing money down the sewer. You're never going to get it back.
May I say something?
Sure.
Judge Judy, when we were only together, when he gave me the $440, then we broke up. I told him to leave because of his behavior and because he never ever went to work.
Miss Dady, you're telling me that he never worked. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
That he couldn't hold a job, a continuous job, probably because he had a drug problem?
Yes, ma'am.
You picked him.
2 years later, after he had convinced me that he had in fact changed, I thought I would give him a second chance.
You wanted to give him a second chance. So within the first month, he needs $900. Just think of what you did. You gave him $900 because the goodness of you say he's clean, he's sober, he's everything else, right? We're going to give him $900 so we can get his car out of the shop. And then you don't see the car. And then according to you, you went down to the shop and they said he never came to pick it up. So he's got you $900. What do? You give him another $1,800.
The only reason I gave him the additional $1,800, Your Honor, is because he had gone to an interview. He was supposedly supposed to be hired as the new used car manager, netting $10,000 to $12,000
And who told you that?
a month. Him.
I rest, if I were a lawyer, I would say I rest my case. Miss Dady, I hate it when women are taken advantage of. But I hate it worse when women act stupid and allow themselves to be taken advantage of. Now let me hear about your counterclaim in 30 seconds or less.
The reason I have so many jobs, Your Honor, because she would show up on my job at any time doing donuts in the parking lot, demanding to see me.
I don't want to hear you.
I don't know how she finds out where I work. I mean...
Let me tell you something, sir. You think that she's bothering you?
Yes.
You think you took advantage of her?
No.
When you take money from somebody, and you took money from her because, according to you, she wanted to keep you around, is that right?
Basically, yes.
Just a second. You think she wanted to keep you around because she legitimately cared for you?
Yes.
And you cared for her or not?
No.
So you took her money. You knew that you didn't care for her the same way. Does that make you a good person or a bad person?
A bad person.
Right! Well, that's another smart thing that you said, Mr. Dickerson.
This is the...
And let me tell you something else, Mr. Dickerson. Bad people, when they come into court, you don't come into court and cry, she's stalking me, she's harassing me. Well, maybe she just got fed up with you. She got fed up with being taken. Not nice. Did you file a police report,
No.
Mr. Dickerson?
No, ma'am.
So it evidently didn't bother you that much, sir, that she was coming and doing donuts with her car in the parking lot.
I didn't want to hurt her.
Oh, that's good. So why would you want to hurt her now?
I don't want to hurt her now.
Good. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Thank you very much. Smarten up, Miss Dady.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's just sore because she gave me the money
He's a user,
and she didn't get the return on it that she thought she would.
and he's a loser.
I didn't want to be with you.
I'm a survivor.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kirkland versus Polson, step forward, please.
Linda Kirkland is suing her daughter, 19-year-old Laura Polson, for the balance on a car. Laura says her mother agreed to make payments while she was going through a divorce.
Miss Kirkland, this is your daughter. What's your first name?
Laura.
Your complaint says that you purchased a car for her with the understanding that she would make the payments on the car.
Correct.
But then you stopped making payments on the car. The car was, in fact, totaled, and your mother is at in excess of $5,000. Yes. That we agree on. Is that right? So what I'd like you to do is tell me what your defense is.
Well, the only reason why I stopped making payments is because I fell into financial. I got divorced and I had to move back home. She said I could move back home with her. So I moved back in with her, and she said that until I got a job and I got back stable on my feet, that I wouldn't have to pay her the monthly payments on the car, that it would be okay. She would help me out as my mom, you know, she would help me out.
Well, that was nice of her.
Right.
So you moved home, and you were how old?
19.
And what were you doing?
Well, I didn't get a job until my 19th birthday, and I moved home in September.
When did you get a job?
In October.
Well, that's a month.
Right.
Were you paying rent?
No.
So whatever money you were earning, you had for yourself.
Right. Well, I had accumulated a lot of bills while I was married, and he wasn't helping me pay them.
Like what?
Well, there was 3 credit card bills, our wedding rings we were still paying off, a watch that he had bought, and we had also a second car. And in November...
Who was driving the second car?
He kept it when I left him in September. He wouldn't release the car to me. It wasn't in my name, it was in his name and my mother's name. So the cops wouldn't release it to me.
Well, if they would release it to your mother.
Right. But she just said it would just be better if I took the Honda and he took the Expedition, and he would pay for that, and I would pay her for the Honda once I got more stable.
Well, now you're getting stable. So what happened?
Well, in October I got a job, and she said I still don't have to pay her. I could wait a couple more months until at least some of my bills were close to getting paid off.
What?
Well, I didn't actually let her not pay the car payment for a few months to let her get caught up on bills, but she had pretty much destroyed the car, and I let her not pay it so she could build up money for the deductibles for all of the damage that was done to the car.
What kind of damage did you do to the car?
She got assaulted before she got married. The guy came back and did more damage to the vehicle, so there were 2 claims there. And then Good Samaritan took a friend home from a party in the middle of the night and caused an accident. And so the car was pretty messed up. So I let her...
You left that all out?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're in December. What happens in December, Miss Paulson?
Well, in November, Jeremy had been being late on the other car payments, so my mom took it back from him and let me drive that, and I was making payments on that because we have a loan on that, so she said it'd be better to pay for that instead of getting it repossessed, and you just wait on the Honda a little bit more until you could afford both.
So how many payments did you make on Jeremy's car?
I think I paid on it November and December.
What do you mean you think?
I'm not real sure.
How many car payments did you
I
make?
think 1.
Where is that car now?
Her husband has it.
He caught up on the payments, or
He is caught up on the payments. She pretty much abandoned it on January 1st. We got into a big fight. She took off in the Honda. Well, she didn't take off in the Honda. The police let someone come and take her in the Honda because her license had been suspended.
For what?
I had got a speeding ticket,
And?
and they just sent me a notice that said that I had to pay until, or else my license would get suspended. So I sent the money in, and it still got suspended.
So what did you do about it?
Well, I was going to do traffic school, but they wouldn't let me do traffic school if you already did it in the last 18 months.
And you had done it in the last 18 months?
Yeah.
Because you had another speeding ticket?
You know, because I had my accident. She had told you about
Sounds to me like you're an accident looking to happen. So far, I haven't heard a legitimate reason why you don't owe your mother this money.
Well, she had told me that I could wait until I was financially back on my feet. And I was paying for the expedition, and I had went on a trip with my friends in December, and I guess she was mad because she didn't give me permission to go. So she was upset about it, and when I came back, I came back on January 1st, and when I woke up in the morning, there was steering wheel locks on both cars. So I walked to my friend's house, and they drove me over there, back to my mom's house, and I had brought in the police there to release the Honda to me because it's in my name.
There's no such word as brought in.
That's brought. Right.
Keep going.
And the cops came and they told her she had to release the Honda to me. And 2 days later, my friend was in it and he took off in it without my permission whatsoever. I had told him numerous times that he was not to even start my car.
And?
And he crashed it into a house and it was totaled.
Who do you live with now?
I live with my boyfriend.
Now we have a boyfriend. So you have a boyfriend and a husband. Is that right?
Well, I'm separated, legally separated. And I'm
You
waiting
mean you're
to
separated
go.
in court? A court issued an order of separation?
No.
Well, then you're not legally separated.
Well, I'm separated, but I have to go through the divorce. I did all my paperwork.
Listen to me. You're living with your boyfriend. What does he do for a living?
He's a mechanic.
You had to look up at the sky to figure out what he did? What does he do for a living?
He's a mechanic.
And what do you do?
I'm a secretary.
So why haven't you started to pay your mother back for the
I
car?
just got my job on Monday. And
What were you
I've
doing
only had
before
for 2
that?
days. I haven't been working.
Why not?
I lost my job in December, and I've been looking for work.
Get a job as a packer in a grocery store. What are you doing? Sitting home doing nothing?
Well, I've been looking for a job. No one's called me back.
I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a job. What can I tell you? What do you still owe?
$6,165.52.
You understand that the limit court can order is $5,000 judgment. Is that right?
I understand that.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Now it's case number 253 on the calendar, the matter of McKinney versus Bates.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. McKinney, you moved into the defendant's home, and at the time the two of you were involved in a relationship. That didn't work out. You allege all kinds of things and allege that he owes you money. Mr. Bates says not only doesn't he owe you any money, but you were supposed to pay your own way when you moved in with him. You did not do that. And in addition, when you left, you took some property of his, including a dog that you had given him. He has a counterclaim. So, when did you move in with Mr. Bates?
January of 2010.
What do you think Mr. Bates owes you for?
I purchased a table, a dining room table, and dishes and all of that stuff.
Not all that stuff. This is a court, Ms. McKinney. You purchased a table. How much did you pay for the table, and from whom did you purchase it?
I paid $598.11, and I got it at Big Lots.
Mr. Bates.
Yes.
I'm interested in a dining room table for $600. Who bought it?
She technically bought it.
I don't want to know technically. That's where we are. We're
She
in a court.
purchased it.
And where is it now?
In my house.
Is she living in your house now?
No, she's not.
She gets her table back.
She owes me.
Just a second. She doesn't owe you anything until I say she owes you anything.
Okay.
Do we understand each other?
We do. Yes.
Perfect. What else did you purchase?
I purchased dishes and...
Dishes. Who did you purchase dishes from?
Target.
How much were they?
2 sets for $60 each, $120.
What do you need 2 sets of dishes? You keep kosher?
Because we have people come over and a set is only for 4 people.
Oh, you mean 2 small sets?
Yes.
2 sets of dishes, usually first to something else. Just wanted to know. What? It was a joke. Nobody thought it was funny. I'm allowed to amuse myself. I've been here 15 years. Okay, so 2 sets of dishes for $120. Are the dishes in your house?
Yes.
They go back to her with the table in 5 days.
Half of them are broken.
That's not my problem.
He stepped on them and broke
When?
them because I wanted them back.
When?
About a month before I moved out.
It's not true.
Just a second. A month before you moved out. Now, after he stepped on the dishes, did you make up?
Yes.
Then I'm not interested.
Okay.
What else?
A bunk bed for my son.
Bunk bed. She purchased a bunk bed?
For both of our kids.
I don't care. Did she purchase a bunk bed?
Yes, and gave it to me.
Get a bed for your own kid.
She gave it to me.
No, she didn't. Get a bed for your own kid.
I had one.
Good. She's getting the bunk bed back, along with the table.
I don't agree.
I don't care whether you agree or not. This is not a popularity contest.
Right.
This is a court.
It is.
Perfect. Anything else?
Snow pants that I paid for. They were $150.
Snow pants.
Yeah, they ended up getting left behind when I grabbed all my clothes.
Well, so what do you want from me? Go buy new snow pants. What's next?
Punitive damages for harassment.
Do you know that if I actually got punitive damages from people for harassing me, I would be a very rich person?
It was harassment and abuse, domestic violence.
You have 5 minutes. Less. 3.
We were going out for a night and we were discussing sexual acts and we were joking around and having a fun time. And after we went out, he got drunk and belligerent and started going crazy. And he threw my keys across the room. He pushed me down on the couch. He pinned me to the bed. He was yelling in my face. He was this close to my face, screaming and yelling at me. And I was just sitting there crying, asking him to stop. And he went to go light a cigarette in the room. And that's when I freaked out because I didn't know what he was going to do with that cigarette.
Why did you leave?
He wouldn't let me get to my phone. He was holding me in the house.
No, he wasn't holding you in the house.
He was holding me in the house.
He went to the other room to get a cigarette.
In the living room, and the bedroom is in the back of the house. There's no way to get out of the bedroom.
Keep going.
He had my phone.
Keep going.
He was in the front of the
Keep
house.
going. Come on. Busy. Let's go.
He was holding me down to the bed. He went
I
and
heard
then he
holding
went
you
to go
down to the
light.
bed.
He went to go light the cigarette, and I freaked out because I didn't know what he was going to do with it. I thought he was going to burn me.
I don't care what you thought. What did you do?
I yelled and told him to stop, to not light the cigarette, and then he kept me in the room, kept my phone from me, wouldn't let me leave.
And then what did you do?
I said, please, can I just go to bed?
What did you do?
In the morning, I text my mom.
So you went to sleep?
Yes. I waited for him to
Just
pass
a
out,
second.
and I went to sleep.
You went to sleep?
Yes. I had no way to get out of the house.
Just a second. You went to sleep. According to what you just said to me, you waited for him to pass out. That's what you just said. I waited for him to pass out, and then I went to sleep.
By then, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't care. If I were petrified of somebody, I would get out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I had no way to. He threw my keys. I didn't have my car. My phone wasn't working because he had broken it.
Well, you're very fortunate that you're here. You should have left 3 o'clock in the morning, gone to a neighbor, knocked at a door, say I'm in danger, somebody's trying to kill me. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Don't fetch about it later. You went to sleep. You had a fight, you went to sleep. All right. Next.
I have a witness that was there when I picked her up, when she came and picked me up that morning.
How did you get your witness to come and pick you up?
Because
I asked you a simple question. How did you get the witness to come and pick you up?
When we left the next morning to go get the kids, I sent my mom a text message because I got my phone to work. And I said, come pick me up in 45 minutes with a truck. Don't text back. I have to delete this. After I sent that to her, he took my phone, held it out the window, was driving over 100 miles an hour, acting like he was going to crash my car.
You want to know something? 3 o'clock in the morning, you should have left. Gotten in touch with somebody and said, I'm in danger, I'm leaving. Do you understand?
I couldn't.
Well, that's what you say. If I felt as if my life was in danger and the perpetrator of that alleged danger passed out, according to you used the words, he passed out, I would have gotten out of that house. Now, let's get to your answer. Answer. Ashley never paid me her share of rent or utilities, and all the furniture she wants back belongs to me. Not true. Belongs to her. And she took your dog. Now, tell me about the dog. When did she take the dog?
This was just before Christmas. When she moved out, she took the dog.
Very good. You're getting smart.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm paying half for the table. I'm paying half for the rent. I was paying for everything. Yeah.
And later today.
Get your what back and forth to school?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
5.
You have this 5-year-old child with him?
Oh, no way. No.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ashley McKinney says former live-in boyfriend Bill Bates owes for the return of furniture and an assault. Bill is countersuing for utility bills, child care costs, and pet expenses.
Now, did you love the dog?
Yes, I loved it. My son loved it.
When for the first time did you go to the police and say she stole your dog?
I never went to the police.
We're now, sir, almost in October.
Yes, we are.
That's almost a year ago. If I woke up and found that somebody stole my dog, I would have been at the police the next day.
5 months ago.
Listen, you have a son?
I do.
You have a son?
Yes, I
you
do.
love him?
Yes, I do.
If you went into his bedroom and found him missing one day, would it take you 5 months to report that to the
No.
police? You would go right away.
Right away.
Right. Well, some people feel that way about their pets, sir. So I'm not interested in a counterclaim that's asking for a dog back after 5 months. Do we understand each other?
Well, it's not necessarily the dog. I mean, I spent for the vet bills on that dog and then supplies.
I don't care. It's irrelevant
She
to me.
took the dog away from me
It's
and my son.
irrelevant to me,
There's
sir.
nothing I could...
If you wanted the dog back and it's your dog,
Well,
then
she
you should
moved
have...
out.
I'm speaking. Do you
If
see my
she-
mouth moving? If you wanted the dog back, and I would have entertained your application to get the dog back,
Right.
if she took the dog September 15th,
Right.
and you said, she stole my dog, and I love that dog, and she gave it to me as a gift, I want it back, I would have heard you.
This is 5 months now, and she's asking for furniture. So, I mean, regardless of the dog or the furniture...
No, there's a difference between
no.
furniture and a dog.
Well, it's a
In
gift.
my mind, there's a difference.
Well,
but you're just
yeah,
like there's
but
a
it's
difference.
still
You see
fine.
my mouth moving? Just like there's a difference between furniture and your son.
That's
There's a
correct.
different feeling. You don't love a table. And she doesn't love her snow pants.
Actually, I do love the table.
You
It's
do
an
love
awesome
the-
table.
You do love the table?
Yeah, it's a
You love
beautiful
the table
table.
more or less than your son?
Oh, I love my son more.
Right. Okay. She gets back the table. You don't get back the dog. Now, let's talk about what she owes you for rent, because that's what she says. She never paid her share of her rent or utilities.
She actually moved in October of 2009.
Yes.
She stayed with me rent-free
For how long?
for 7 months.
Just a minute. And was she supposed to pay you in October?
Yes.
Did she pay you?
No.
Did you evict her?
No.
She stayed with you in November.
Yes.
Did she pay you?
No.
Did you evict her?
No.
Did she stay with you in December?
Yes.
Did she pay you?
I see where you're going.
You got where I'm going? You got where I'm going? It's over. She gets her table and her bunk beds, the unbroken dishes, and if you want to, wrap the unbroken dishes in her snow pants if you have them within 5 days. It's finished.
But
Over. Done.
you don't understand what I've done for this girl.
Listen.
You
beat
her
up? Listen to me.
I
Just a second. You don't understand me, sir. I don't care.
I can see that.
I
but
don't care. I'm not giving her the money that she wants. Now, let me see how much money she wants. $5,000 because she had a
ridiculous.
fight. She's not getting any money.
Right.
She's getting her furniture back. Because she spent her money on it, she's taking her furniture back. Because that's reasonable. But if you actually had a contract with her for rent and utilities,
I didn't
and
bring
she
the
lived
lease-
with and she lived with you for 7 months and shared a bed with you, and as she discussed, you know, having cute little sex talk before this argument took place, I'm not interested, quite frankly, in rent.
Well, she was only eligible to buy those things for the place because I paid for the rent. If I didn't pay for the rent or the bills, she wouldn't have been able to buy the table or any of that. So technically, I'm paying half for the table. I'm paying half for the rent. I was paying for everything. Yeah, I know. More like
5
this.
days, that's all. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Parties are excused. May step out.
we were planning on having a long future together,
I bought her a wedding ring, actually.
and it just kind of went downhill.
I'm stuck with a wedding ring, and she gets the furniture.
Be smart about who I choose to be with.
Well, I'm telling you what, next time she comes to my work for a booty call, I'm gonna tell her no way.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Denny versus Morris. Step forward.
20-year-old Brittany Denny is suing her ex-boyfriend, 25-year-old Matthew Morris, for stealing money from her bank account, a loan for bail, and harassment.
Miss Denny, the defendant is your ex-boyfriend, and the real thrust of your complaint is that he stole money out of your bank accounts on 2 different occasions.
Yes, ma'am.
One in December of '08 and once again in March of 2010.
Actually, it was starting in October of 2008 through November of 2008. I found out about it in December.
Did you file a police report?
I did not. He admitted to doing it, told me he would pay me back.
Did he pay you back?
He had
Did he
promised
pay,
to.
you just answered my question.
No.
Did he pay you back? Did you file a police report?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
We were dating.
Well, then what do you want from me?
I trusted him.
Miss Denny, what do you want from me? He didn't pay you back in December 2008, and he stole money again from you.
Yeah.
When?
From beginning of 2009 through about the middle of 2009.
And he stole money out of your ATM?
Yeah,
And I assume you get bank statements.
I do.
And so I assume you looked at your bank statements during that period of time in 2009 and saw that there were transactions there that weren't yours.
Correct.
So what did you do?
I confronted him about it.
Well, this is an ongoing thing, and what did he say?
He said, as soon as I get a job, I'll pay you back. He didn't have a job through this whole time.
I don't care. Did you file a police report?
I did not.
If somebody steals money from you, you file a police report, and you have him arrested.
Well, he was my boyfriend, and my first love. I loved him that.
Great. So after you found out that he had stolen money from your bank account, you were intimate together.
Correct.
That's what we call forgiveness. He stole from you, you slept with him, and forgave him, and was hoping that it would all work out, and that when you got married, it wouldn't make any difference. You would make a family together, and the fact that he took some money from your bank account. By the way, how do you think he got your PIN number?
He got my PIN number from times when we were in the car together. He was in the driver's seat. I hand my card over. That's how. I didn't think he would remember it. I trusted him.
Finito. Is that your mother?
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
It's over. You know, if the first time he stole from you, you didn't say, you know what? He stole my PIN number. He memorized it when I handed it to him, because I'm sure he has a different story. He memorized it when I handed it to him. He took money without my permission. That means he's a thief. Do you think I want to hang my hopes and dreams on a thief? I would think not.
Well, no, but sure. He said he was going to pay me back, though.
It doesn't make any difference. According to you, he stole from you.
He did.
There's a difference between you giving him $50 and $100 and whatever, and he says to you, I'll pay you back. Well, that's a different story than you tell me in here, which was he stole from you. If you pinned your hopes and dreams in 2008 on a thief, because that's what you said, he was a thief, not a borrower, but a thief. And then he was another thief in all of 2009 when you were looking at your bank records, another thief, and you didn't stop it right away. What do you want from me?
Judge
Prosecute him. If the police aren't interested in prosecuting him from 2008 and 2009, I guarantee you, neither am I.
Even though he admits to doing it?
Listen to me. I don't care what he admits to. You slept with a thief. You pinned your future in 2008 on a thief. What do you expect? He continued to be a thief, according to you. And you let him.
Didn't.
And you let him. Yes, you did. Because you kept looking at your bank account. You saw it was dwindling. According to you, there were withdrawals that you hadn't made over the course of months in 2009, and you didn't stop them, which is very easy. All you have to do in 2008, when you find out that he's a thief, is change your PIN number.
Well, that happened.
That's very interesting. All you have to do is change your PIN number in 2008. Then he can't steal from you anymore, unless you were comfortable with the situation, which is something that I'm not getting into now, Miss Denny. When you file a police complaint and the district attorney decides to prosecute him for theft, you come back to me.
Well, that was my...
Yeah, listen to me. You come back to me.
Well, no,
when you file a police report and the district attorney decides to prosecute him for theft, you come back to me.
I was going to file a police report.
Do it. I'm giving you my ruling. That's my ruling. You file a police report and the district attorney decides to prosecute him for 2-year-old withdrawals from your bank account, then I will hear you.
What about money for punitive damages?
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Asking with 270 on the calendar, the matter Porter versus Ciccarelli.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Miss Porter, what do you do for a living?
I work as an associate for Walmart, and it's electronics.
And how long have you worked there?
14 years.
This case is about bail. It is your claim that your son, I assume this son, had been arrested.
Yes.
And you got a call to bail him out. You went to the jail with his friend, according to your papers. You had the money, $5,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Only one person, according to what you say the defendant told you, could go into the room to bail him out. So you gave the $5,000, I assume in cash,
Yes.
to the defendant to post the bail. He did. Your son's case was subsequently disposed of, and the bail check released.
Right.
The defendant got the check for the bail. He did not give you back your money.
Right.
That's what you're suing him for, the $5,000. Now I'm going to hear your story.
I got a phone call on September 13th that Greg was arrested and that she had a certain amount of money to pay.
You got a call from?
Mrs. Porter.
Okay.
And that she can only get a certain amount of money to pay.
Don't look over there.
Oh.
Look over right.
To pay the bail, and she needed to pay the lawyer. So she asked me if I had
bail and lawyer.
And lawyer. She asked me if I had money to pay bail because she had the lawyer fee. So I went down. I was hesitant.
Just a second. So she said, do you have the money to pay the bail?
Yeah, she asked me if I had $5,000. And I said, and first it was $5,000, then she asked me before she had $1,000.
Go ahead.
Then I was a little reluctant to do it.
Why?
Because he's been going in and out of jail, and I didn't know if he was going to take off or not. So I wound up doing it because he was a friend of mine for a long time.
Do you know what he was incarcerated for?
Yes.
What?
10 bundles of heroin.
Wasn't his first drug arrest?
No.
Go ahead.
So we proceeded, I went there, I picked up Miss Porter, we went down to the...
You've never been arrested for drugs, have you?
No, I've never been arrested for drugs.
That's all? It's a question.
Okay. So we wound up going down to the jail. We both went inside. The correctional officer asked us to sit down. He called us back both up, and he said to both of us that one of us can only go pay the bail. The other person has to wait. She said, you gave me the $4,000, you go pay the bail. Greg owed me...
Just a second.
Yes.
Did she give you $1,000?
Yes, she did.
And you had $4,000?
Yes.
Where did you get the $4,000 from?
From my business account.
Show me.
I don't have any proof. I closed my business account.
When did this happen?
2 years ago.
Date?
September 13th.
2008?
Yes.
And when did you close your business account?
It was January of 09.
Business account was in what bank?
Capital One.
They're still in business. When did you take the money out?
September 13th, 2008.
We're going to get it. Just tell me why you closed your business account.
Because I went under. My business went under.
And you closed the account in 2009?
Yes.
Now, you took the money, according to you, out of where? The $5,000?
My brother's bank accounts.
Out of your brother's bank account?
My brother loaned me the money.
Show me. Do you have a bank account with your brother?
No, but I gave him a check for $5,000.
Show me.
It's on there.
Show me your check.
Oh, I don't have the check with me.
Listen, this is not evidence of a debt.
That does show the deposit for the $5,000 from her to brother's bank account.
All I want to see is the check.
You can get that, Mama.
I want to see your check, and I want to see your bank statement where you took out $4,000 on September 13th. That's what I want to see. So, I'll see you later. Bye.
Please excuse. Step out, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm not lying about this, so I mean, it doesn't matter.
So if you're not lying, Mrs. Porter is lying.
Absolutely.
And her brother is lying.
And later today,
You will be much more successful, Mr. Roy, if you just give me truthful answers. Because, sir, if you don't tell the truth, I'm going to make you look like a fool.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Karen Porter says her son's former friend, Christopher Ciccarelli, stole a refund for a bail bond she posted on her son's behalf.
Yeah, it's a recall of case number 270 in the matter of Porter versus Ciccarelli. Parties are reminded still under oath.
All right, Miss Porter, my clerks were able to secure the account of your brother and you, which suggests and demonstrate that you did, in fact, give him a check for $5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 13th of September of 2008. That was the same day the bail was paid. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Ciccarelli, despite our best efforts and the clerk's best efforts and the lawyer who sits back here, her best efforts, we have been unable to secure anything from your bank that even suggests that they know who you are. Close your mouth, sir. We have not been able to get that. And I assume that you exercised your best efforts to try to get some proof for me that you withdrew $4,000 from an account.
Yes.
Well, what do you think I'm going to deduce from that, Mr. Ciccarelli?
I have the bankruptcy here.
I don't care about your bankruptcy. Who cares about your bankruptcy? Bank record.
Okay.
When did your business start to go south, Mr. Ciccarelli? Month and year?
Probably November, December of 08.
How much were you earning before that?
About $3,000 a week.
What kind of business was it?
Chimneys.
Chimneys what?
Building, repairing.
How long did you have the business?
About 4 years.
And how old are you?
I'm 33.
What did you do before that?
Chimneys.
For somebody else?
Yes.
What are you doing now?
Chimneys.
For somebody else?
Yes.
You have a bank account where you put your checks?
Yes, I do.
With what bank?
Bank of Smithtown.
Is that where you've been living?
No, I live in Sound Beach.
How long have you lived in Sound Beach?
5 years.
Who do you live with?
My wife?
You have children?
Yes.
You live in a house or an apartment?
In a house?
You own your own home?
Yes.
5 years?
3 years.
In whose name is the house?
It's under my mother-in-law.
When was it transferred to your mother-in-law's name?
It's always been under my mother. We bought it from my mother-in-law.
You bought it from her?
Yes.
Is the house listed in your bankruptcy papers?
No.
Why wasn't the title ever transferred to you and your wife?
Because we couldn't get approved for the thing because of the bankruptcy.
Well, you didn't file for bankruptcy, sir, until later. You've been in the house longer than the bankruptcy.
I know, but we didn't wind up buying it from my mother-in-law until afterwards because she was going into foreclosure.
So you took it over,
Yes.
but not formally?
No.
You just live there?
Yes.
And pay the mortgage?
Yes.
You pay the mortgage by check?
Yes.
And you've been paying the mortgage by check from the same bank since you took the mortgage over 3 years ago?
Correct.
Do you get where I'm going, Mr. Ciccarelli?
Yeah, but it was a different, my business was a different bank
Well, why would you take money out of your business?
because I didn't want my wife to see the money taken out of our account.
So you're going to lie to her?
Yes, I was.
And when you were going to lie to her, were you going to look at her the same way as you're looking at me right now and telling me the story?
I'm not lying about this, so I mean, it doesn't matter.
So if you're not lying, she's lying. I just want to know, if you're not lying, Mrs. Porter is lying.
Absolutely.
And her brother is lying.
They got that money for their lawyer. That was the money for their lawyer. So where did the lawyer get paid?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm going to ask them. What's the name of the lawyer you used?
William.
Has your son's case been resolved?
Yes, it has.
What was the disposition of the case?
It was dismissed.
Mr. will represent your son until the dismissal?
Yes, he did, ma'am.
What was his fee?
I don't know. My son took care of that.
Your Honor, I took the payments over and I paid it.
Did Mr. represent you with the arraignment?
Yes, he did.
Who retained him?
My mother.
On what date did your mother retain him? You were released on bail on the 13th, which means that you were arraigned prior to the 13th.
Correct.
Which means that Mr. is not going to the arraignment without a retainer. No question about that. And you were arrested for felony count heroin possession.
Yes.
How much did Mr. charge as a retainer?
It was $1,000 up front, I believe, and then it was $3,800 after that.
Who paid it?
I believe my mom paid the first payment, and then I took the payments on after that.
If I were to call Mr. would he say to me that he charged $1,000 up front to go to the arraignment?
Yes, he would.
And then $3,800?
Yes, he would.
And you paid him $1,000 when, Miss Porter?
I guess the week after my son was arraigned.
No, criminal lawyers don't wait until the week after. Criminal lawyers want their money before they go to the arraignment.
He's been a family lawyer for many years, so he works with us.
Mr. has represented your family in what kind of matters before?
All kind of legal matters. Buying, selling a house.
Divorce.
And he represented you throughout the pendency of these criminal proceedings?
Yes, he has.
I believe them. Don't believe you, sir. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All he did was put the bail money in with the court. That's all he did.
He used to come to my house. I went to his daughter's christening. I made a quilt for his daughter.
There is no friendship. There hasn't been a friendship.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, he's been like a son.
Never do anything for him.
I don't want to hear from him ever again.
And disc jockey Alan Herzig is suing former clients Bonnie and Paul Moorer for putting a stop payment on his fee. Bonnie is countersuing, claiming Alan slandered her.
Come to order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. All rise. Miss. Now, this is case number 129 on the calendar in the matter of Herzig versus Mora. Parties been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Everybody, have seats.
Mr. Herzig, you were retained by Mr. and Mrs. Mora, according to your complaint,
Yes,
to
ma'am.
be the DJ at their son's bar mitzvah.
Correct.
They gave you a $500 deposit,
Correct.
the balance due of $650. According to your complaint, you went to the bar mitzvah, you performed your service, the Moras gave you a check for $650,
Correct.
and then they stopped payment on the check.
Yes, ma'am.
You want your money.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Mora say that your services were not up to standard, that they feel as if they didn't get what they had contracted for, that you ruined their son's bar mitzvah. In addition to ruining their son's bar mitzvah, you slandered and defamed them by writing letters to the temple, by walking around with placards outside. I don't know what you said. And they're suing you for a refund of their $500 deposit, as well as another $4,500 for their aggravation.
Correct.
Okay. Where was the bar mitzvah?
Desert Shores Community Center, the same location that my young witness had his bar mitzvah.
Okay. And how many people did you have at the bar mitzvah?
Approximately 100.
When did you retain Mr. Herzig?
Approximately 2 months before,
Okay.
2 to 3 months before the event.
Do you have the contract?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd
It
like to
was
see it,
actually December 16th, 2004.
And when was the bar mitzvah?
January 30th, 2005.
Okay. Would you show this to Mr. and Mrs. Moore and ask them whether they recognize signature on that and whose signature it was on the contract?
Yep, I have the same one in my...
Yes.
Okay, so that's the contract.
Yes.
No. And you showed up.
Absolutely. Ready to do a job.
Showed up, and how many hours were you there?
I arrived at 4 o'clock p.m. Set up time from 4 o'clock to 5:30. At 5:30, start music.
And when did you finish?
9:30.
Between 5:30 and 9:30, did anyone approach you and indicate that they were dissatisfied with what was going on?
Ms. Moore came up and said, I'm unhappy the music being played right now. It was during the dinner time. And I said, no problem, we'll promptly change it, which we did.
So other than that one time that Mrs. Moore came up to you during the course of the evening, did either of them come up and say that there was anything wrong with what you were doing?
Later on at about 8:40, maybe 9 o'clock, Ms. Moore came up and asked, she had given me originally that evening 4 additional notes to perform and to say, as I remember, something about one of them being guest had graduated from college. But there were a couple, how about those announcements? And I said, we've already made the announcements. I didn't know if she was in the room.
Can I add to that?
I'm going to get to you in a second. Okay. When did you get your check for $650?
After we put the equipment back into the van, we sat down at the table with Ms. Moore, and we requested our check, and we started just kibitzing a little about the evening, and that was it.
She gave you the check?
Yes, ma'am. Wrote the check right then and there.
Did she say at that point anything to you about your service that evening?
Word zero, which meant...
Okay. Don't tell me what he's going to tell me.
Okay.
You say word zero.
Word zero.
Okay, who's going to speak?
I'd like to say.
Okay.
Okay. When I originally hired Alan to be my DJ, I had interviewed a few DJs. And one mentioned that he was going to have a disco ball for lighting, which, you know, I would like for my son to have something special. And he said, oh, that's outdated. I have sophisticating lighting. I have speakers with that blink, and I have, you know, and I was excited because I thought, wow, I'm going to have that. That was not at the party. That's what initially, after I watched the tape of the bar mitzvah, or it was even before then, I said to my husband, was there lighting? And there was no lighting. The montage that he made for me, that he was professionally supposed to do.
I don't know what, could you stop hitting the table?
I'm sorry.
What at the table?
The montage of...
A video montage that he supplied a projection screen that he told me he was going to add magic to. I scanned all the pictures at home on my computer and handed him a disc. He just added music to it, and he told me he was going to spin the pictures and do his magic to my pictures, and I have a copy of that here that I'd like you to see, that within the first 4 pictures there was a slag in between the pictures. As a professional, after making a tape of this sort, he should have viewed it before he showed it to my guests. There was a slag, and everybody thought the tape was over after the first 4 pictures.
The sound system was inadequate. We had music cues for people as they were to come out and be introduced that never went off. We didn't know he was going to have a 12-year-old child as his DJ, training
told me he
him
was gonna have an
at our
assistant.
bar mitzvah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He said he would bring an assistant. We didn't know it would be a young child that he would be given on-the-job training during our
He
affair.
trained his son throughout the... I
So
have it on tape also.
That was quite embarrassing for us, and our guests couldn't believe it. We had certain music that he left at
my
home.
father was an entertainer who had passed, and I wanted my family to hear my father's music while we're eating. I brought the tape. He didn't even bring it to the bar mitzvah. He had to call his wife to bring the tape to the bar mitzvah.
Did she bring it?
She brought it, but it was stressful for me.
Now you've told me the story.
Some of it.
Shh. Now you've told me the story, and now I'd like to know why you gave him a check for $650 at the end of the evening.
My husband wrote
First of all, he's not telling the truth. I'm the one that gave him the check, not my wife.
I don't care who gave me the check. You gave him the check.
He came over. He said, it's time to settle up. We still had guests around. I didn't want to cause a scene. It was a very big day, a lot of excitement. Took out my checkbook. I wrote him the check just to get it over with. And we went home and discussed it, and we got several complaints from guests. People called us. They emailed us. They told us the next day or two how awful things were.
I want to see those emails. Just a second. Listen to me very carefully, Mr. Mora. I want to see the emails from your guests telling you how awful the bar mitzvah was.
I have.
Okay.
I'd like to see them.
Okay.
You have those letters?
Those are some letters, but I want her to read this.
I want to see a letter.
I'll give it to them.
I just want to see an email. Oh, this is terrible. This is not what I want.
Okay.
This is not what I want. And this is not what I want. And this is not what I want. Did you understand English? English is, I want to see emails that your guests sent to you the day after the bar mitzvah telling you how horrible the bar mitzvah was. These are letters.
Okay.
These are letters 6 months later that you solicited from people saying, I was present at the Mora bar mitzvah and would like to make some comments about what I observed.
Well, she just printed it out that day.
Listen to me, madam. On your best day, you're not as smart as I am on my worst day.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Tell me one Bubba Mice, I find everything else that you say suspect. So that's a grandma story.
Oh, I know the Bubba Mice.
That's a Bubba Mice, a grandma story. It means it's an untruth.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alan Herzig says former client Bonnie Moore owes for his DJ services. Bonnie claims Alan did a poor job. She is countersuing for defamation of character.
What I want to see is a guest at a bar mitzvah, because I've been to more bar mitzvahs in my day than you have, and I've made more.
Okay.
I have never had a guest that wrote me a letter or sent me an email telling me how horrible the function was because of the DJ. So when you said to me, I got emails the next day telling me how horrible the function was,
I didn't say I
that's not true. That's not true.
Don't argue with him.
No guest at a Jewish bar mitzvah tells their host and hostess what a terrible time they had. Now, solicited, you can get letters from people telling you that they thought that the DJ was awful. Call a guest and say, I'm going to court, and I want you to tell me, or I'm having a discussion or a dispute with it. Put your hand down. You tell me one Bubba Misa. You know what that means?
Yes.
Good. You tell me one Bubba Misa, I find everything else that you say suspect. So that's a grandma story.
Oh, I know the Bubba Mice.
That's a Bubba Mice, a grandma story. It means it's an untruth. It means what grandmas tell when they tend to fabricate. So nobody wrote you the next day or 2 days later or 3 days later what a terrible time they had at your son's bar mitzvah because of the music.
Your Honor, excuse me.
Don't speak to me yet.
Okay.
So the answer to the question is, you gave him a check the day of the bar mitzvah because you didn't want to create a scene at the bar mitzvah. And then you were talking amongst yourselves. Not because you got emails from anybody the next day, because that's a lie, or the day after that, and you decided to stop payment on the check, right?
Right.
Now, after you stopped payment on the check, Mr. Herzig called you.
Right.
When you called him, what did Mr. Mora tell you?
My wife was unhappy with your performance.
And?
And we are not paying you, and we don't want to hear from you again. We've dusted our hands of you.
Was that the end of the conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any subsequent conversation with him?
I tried to.
So what did you do, Mr. Herzig? Because that's the second part of their complaint, for which they want $4,500.
I sent them eventually I sent them an email. I left messages. I'm
not talking about what you sent to them. They are complaining that you slandered them.
I sent them an email. That was the slander.
He wrote letters to all the religious leaders in the community with this case.
You have copies of the letters? And just a second. Do you have copies of the letters that he sent?
I have one copy with CC's underneath.
Fine, I'd like to see it.
This was registered to me. Okay. He also sent a letter to the owner of the Israelite, which is the Jewish paper here in Las Vegas. I have a letter also from...
He carried a picket sign in front of our school,
and
religious school.
Just a second.
Okay.
Is this what you're talking about? This...
Oh, he sent that whole package.
Just a second.
Yes.
This says...
He sent that to Mike, the owner.
Okay. And it says, how about a headline like Bonnie and Paul Morris stiffed their MC DJ?
Yes.
Well, that's what you did.
Okay.
That's what you did.
Okay.
You wrote
I don't
him a check.
think that he should be
Listen to
telling...
me. You wrote him a check.
The newspaper that.
You, listen to me. You wrote him a check, and then you stopped payment on the check. That means he got stiffed.
Disc jockey Alan Herzig claims client Bonnie Moore owes for services rendered. Bonnie is countersuing, claiming Alan slandered her.
Mr. Herzig says in this letter that he spent substantial time in your house helping you get the pictures scanned. Is that true?
He agreed that I told him I just bought the scanner. He agreed to come over and
So
do
it's-
that. But he just showed me how to do it. I already knew. Go ahead.
Listen to me. The answer is he came over to your house, which is not contained in this contract, to help you scan the pictures
Well, I
into a
scanned them all.
scanner. Not contained in here. He did it because he was being...
Yes, he was. Very nice to do that. Although his price
Fine.
was outrageous to begin with, anyway.
Mrs. Herzog, that's an untruth. He was charging you $1,150 to perform at your event, which included this montage of pictures. And if you're telling me that that's an outrageous price, you should have hired somebody else. I'm telling you it's not an outrageous price.
Okay. Well,
okay. And I'm still trying to find slander worth slander at all.
I don't think any of my business should be brought to the attention of my four rabbis he sent it to in the newspaper.
But listen, what you think is one thing. He could have been a nice person and not sent it to anybody else. But he chose not to do that. That's not actionable.
Going to the school at checkout time with a poster that says I owe him money, and I have a letter here from the receptionist.
Listen to me.
Did you want to be...
He has a right. I'm not looking at a letter. He has a right to do that. You do owe him money. That's not libelous. That's something that's untrue. You do owe him money.
Okay. I
if you
believe
owed
he did
him-
a job. I think it was inferior.
Just a second. Then you don't use him again. Let us say that you go out for a meal, Mrs. Mora, with your husband and your family, and you go to a new restaurant, and you eat at the restaurant, you finish everything on your plate, and you get back in your car that evening, and you say, you know, they advertised this restaurant as having the best ribs in town. And the truth is, I don't like those ribs as well as I like the rib guy at the end of the street. So I played by credit card, and I'm going to cancel my credit card, despite the fact that I ate the ribs, paid the bill, and I didn't like the way the waiter spoke to me, so I'm going to cancel that charge on my credit card. You think you'd get very far, Mrs. Mora? Zero. So if you don't like the restaurant, the next time you're going out for dinner, go someplace else. It's not as if Mr. Herzog didn't show up. It's not as if you got somebody else to play instead of him. You allowed him to start at 5:30, finish at 9:30. I am absolutely 100% positive that people clapped to the music, danced if they danced to the music.
They didn't.
Were on the dance floor. Maybe not everybody. Some people were on the dance floor during the course of the event. In any event, you used his services. You ate his ribs. When you stopped payment on his check, you had no right to do that. You stiffed him. You stole his money. And then you said, you don't like it? Sue me. Which is what he's doing. He wanted to embarrass you. I assume he embarrassed you. That's too bad. What he was saying is true. He's allowed to embarrass you. You have anything else you want to say?
Yes, how about he promised me the lighting system, the sound system was bad. I have on tape.
No, madam, I want you to take a look at your contract. And I want you to show me in your contract where it's in the contract.
No,
Listen to me. That's what you are bound by.
Okay.
The four corners of the contract. I want you to show me, Miss Mora, in the contract where it says that he's going to supply you with a lighting system.
Well, how about the sound system here?
Listen to me. I said, show me in the contract, in the four corners of the contract, where he says he's going to supply you with a lighting system.
That was my mistake, not having him write it, I guess.
You're absolutely right. What kind of business are you in, sir?
Hotel.
What kind of business in the hotel?
Casino.
What do you do in the casino?
I'm a department manager.
Okay. You know about contracts?
A little bit.
Good. Well, you have to explain that to your wife, sir. Anything that's within the four corners of the contract, or what courts consider if you sue him. If you said to me he didn't show up until 7 o'clock, and I find that he didn't show up until 7 o'clock, that means he gets docked. The fact that you didn't like the ribs is, as we say in French, bad. Next time you have another bar mitzvah that you're planning, don't use Mr. Herzog. He doesn't want you to use him. They owe you $650.
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff and your counterclaims dismissed. That's all.
Thank you.
What is your excuse? You may step out.
Now you can sit down. I don't understand. You know, there has to be a lie here someplace.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Marijuana may be potent, but it doesn't have legs. Somebody has to bring it and put it in the center console of your car. That would have either been you or him.
And later today,
You cut off all the beer.
Yes, ma'am.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Cut off all the beer, and at 1:30 in the morning you decided you were hungry. You think I believe that?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tanika Jackson says former friend Kenrick Burkhalter owes for the value of a car. Tanika says the vehicle was sold in impound after Kenrick was pulled over with drugs on him.
Now, what's your sister's name?
Mian.
How many sisters do you have?
One.
And what's your first name?
Artesian.
And that's your mother?
Yes.
And how old is your sister?
43.
How many children does she have?
One.
Has your sister ever been arrested for drugs?
No, ma'am.
What about you?
No, ma'am.
What about you?
No, ma'am.
How long had you been his girlfriend in July?
Actually, we were never boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just friends.
What were you doing staying at his house?
I used to live 2 streets up from him, and we had to move out of there. And in transition of moving into my new place, he said it was okay that I stayed with him.
For how long?
I was there for probably about a month, a little over a month.
Did you ever meet his sister?
I did meet his sister, but I've never met her. I've heard of her, never seen her.
So this is his niece?
That's his niece.
Well, I thought, Miss Jackson, you just said to her, who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
No, just a second.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Well, you did know then who she was.
I didn't know. When I saw her in here, I don't know who she is.
But you knew who she was now that you knew that he had a niece whose name was Artesia.
Yeah, now you're saying that's your niece.
Right?
I'm aware of
and
who
you heard
she
her
is.
name. So when you said, who are you? Yeah. it's going to be absolutely impossible to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not. So we're going to have to rely on some interesting...
Can I explain to you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm saying, when I say who are you, because I've never seen her physically. I've heard of her. I've heard stories of her. According to me, she lives in a different state or something.
I don't care.
And so she was not there. This is my first time ever seeing her in my life.
Fine. Mr. Burkhalter, my question to you is, let us assume, sir, I believe your story. I'm not saying I believe it, that you gave him or Dominique money for drugs. I'm not saying it's true. But let's say I believe you. And let's say instead of giving you or Dominique $35 for drugs, and you were the driver of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
You pulled up to the Peach House.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
waited for Dominique to go inside, pick up the drugs, and bring them back for Miss Jackson. And this was a gesture of goodwill for her.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let's say instead of giving you $35 or giving Dominique $35, she handed you a little 38 special and said, you know, I'm really short of money this week. I want you to take this 38 special and go down to the gas station. Do me a favor. I'd like you to stick up the gas station for me and bring me back the money. And you did that. Do you think that's her fault?
No, ma'am.
Whose fault would that be?
It would be mine.
Well, what she was asking you to do was buy her drugs. In every jurisdiction I know, that's a crime, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have several choices. You either say to her, I'll take my own car, or move your car. I'm not going to buy your drugs, because that's what this was all about. She didn't want to move her car. She said, take my car. So you were going out to commit a felony on her behalf, and you got caught. So who do you think is responsible for that?
I guess me.
Perfect. And that's if I believe you. I don't know if I believe any of you. Now, what kind of car did you have, Miss Jackson?
I had a 2000 Dodge Stratus.
Okay. Well, we do know several things. We know that there were drugs in your car. Some marijuana. Don't know how it got there. Marijuana may be potent, but it doesn't have legs. Somebody has to bring it there and put it in the center console of your car. That would have either been you or him. Then we know that somebody in that house is a meth user. And you were staying there for a month.
Exactly. And nobody did meth there. I don't even know what meth looks like, so
Neither
that's
do I.
crazy.
All I know is it's nasty. And nobody ever got caught in my car with meth. So now we're going to find out what this 2000 Dodge Strata is worth, Officer Byrd. And then we're going to apportion fault.
Well, I just want to let you know, I don't know anything about meth. I didn't hand him any money because he was going to the store for himself. So whatever story he's telling you is new to me, but that's not what happened.
V6 or four-cylinder?
A four-cylinder.
1500.
Now, I want to know what a day's impound was on the car.
Well, on the first paper they sent me out, it was $360. Plus the towing, it was $660. And then I kept going back. I have several papers I kept going back.
I don't care if you kept going back.
Okay.
I don't care. If the value of your car is $1,500, why are you suing for $22,000?
Because he's told me over 15 times he was going to go get my car out of impound.
And?
So he never did. And I keep getting these papers to show him, like, they don't stop adding charges because you want to wait. And
I understand that, but then they sold your car.
Exactly. The $22.80 was until the point where they sold it. That was the last amount I could have paid to get it out before they sold it the next day.
But it's not worth $22.80.
That's just the storage charges.
You don't have to
day,
pay those charges. They sold it.
I'm talking about previously. If we didn't come here, every day they added money to it.
Your Honor, can I say something, Your Honor?
Oh, yes.
A week after her car was impounded, I don't know how much money he gave her, but he gave her money to get her car out of the impound.
How much money was given to me?
She didn't have her license. That's why she didn't go get her car out the impound.
Ooh, sit down. Very interesting. Oh, that's an interesting story.
How much money? I didn't get a dime.
That's just a second. Take your hands off.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
before I decided to put it in reverse, I had asked Tom if he could be my eyes to get me out of the driveway, and Tom said yes, and as I proceeded up, he backed me right up into his own car.
former friend Kendrick Burkhalter is responsible for her car being sold in impound.
Okay, where do you come from?
I come from San Bernardino, California.
You have a valid California driver's license?
Yes, I do.
Now?
It's right here. Yes, I do.
As of when?
As of July. I got it in July.
Let me see.
My license is, and he has not.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
This is dated May 18th, 2006.
My driver's license.
Isn't that what it says? Bert, am I correct?
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
it says.
Was your license suspended?
Yeah, it was.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
When was your driver's license suspended?
My driver's license was suspended a while ago. I'm not sure of the date, but it's valid as of now.
What were you doing driving a car? Your driver's license wasn't valid then, because I see that you had a valid driver's license May 18th, 2006. It expired June 2nd, 2011, but it was suspended. What are you looking at me as if I'm talking a foreign language for?
I'm not.
On what date was your driver's license reinstated?
I don't have that paper.
Well, you get that paper, you can come back. Right now, your case is dismissed without prejudice, because if you're driving around with a car without a license, I'm not interested in your complaint. Do you understand?
I understand that, but
Great.
my license
Thank you.
is valid. Right, and I don't do meth.
May step out.
I don't care really what he says. He's full of lies.
He left her. He kicked her out. So that's the problem.
Stop doing favors for people, you know, and live my own life.
I don't believe anything anybody says, so it doesn't matter.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Brokenshire versus Evanson. Step forward, please.
19-year-old Thomas Brokenshire is suing his former friend, Trevor Evanson, for running into his car while backing out of a driveway.
Give me the date of this incident with the cars.
April 20th, 2010.
And when, Mr. Brokenshire, did you last socialize with Mr. Evanson? Look at me.
April 21st.
Where was that?
We were located at the house that I was currently residing at.
And what were you doing on April 21st after this incident?
We were meeting for arrangements to cover the damages on the vehicle.
Now, who had been drinking on April 20th, 2010? Raise your hand. Right. And after everybody was drinking at this party together and having a good time, who wanted to go and get some food? Raise your hand.
It was all of us.
And who all went to get some food? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you went to get some food. What is this? What is this? Is there something wrong with your hand? Make it all the way up. Did you go and get some food?
Technically not.
Were you going to get some food? Now you got it. You think you're going to be a wise guy with me? I ate people like you for breakfast before I start working. And then you all got in a car. He was driving when you were going to get some food after you had been drinking, all buddies and friends. And it is your claim that he backed into your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want him to pay for the damage.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want me to get involved in this lunacy? Courts don't do that. Was your car damaged?
Negative. Negative.
What kind of car did you have?
Ford Ranger.
And what kind of car did you have?
Camaro Super Sport.
Guess he was luckier than you were.
Yes, ma'am.
Having partied all evening, what were you all going out for to get food? Why don't you just go to sleep?
Well, ma'am, we started off the barbecue earlier in the day.
I don't care. Don't give me a whole story. I have other things to do with important cases, not people who are looking to have a good time. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Just give me
12:30.
12:30 in the afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
Barbecue and what?
It's barbecue and social
Beer?
gathering.
Beer?
Yes, ma'am.
What else other than beer?
It's only beer, ma'am.
Just beer. And what time did you get hungry again after you'd been drinking barbecue and beer all day?
Roughly 1:30 in the morning the previous day.
Not the previous day.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't go backwards. The only one that goes backwards in time is Bill Murray.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than that, we move forward.
I'm sorry, ma'am. It was the day after.
So you had been barbecuing and drinking beer for about 11 and a half hours.
No, ma'am. We ended the barbecue roughly 4 p.m.
And then what'd you do?
We just kind of hang out.
No beer. You cut off all the beer.
Yes, ma'am.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Cut off all the beer, and at 1:30 in the morning, you decided you were hungry.
Well, that's
How old are you?
19.
You think I believe that? You know how many 19-year-olds I raised? A lot. Why don't you help him fix his car?
I don't consider it my fault. We were all drinking that night, and we all decided to leave to go get some food.
I mean, you were driving.
Correct. Well, before I decided to put it in reverse, I had asked Tom if he could be my eyes to get me out of the driveway, and Tom said yes, and as I proceeded up, he backed me right up into his own car.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
How old are you?
21.
19, 21, 20. So the only one who's legal to drink is you. Is that right?
Correct.
Were you legal to drink then?
Negative.
Not. Goodbye, kids. Go pay for your own cars. Thank you. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. The next case.
All parties in the matter of Andreasen versus Behar, step forward, please.
Suzanne Andreasen is suing her former friend, Brian Behar, for rental car fees, parking tickets, and an unpaid iPhone account.
Ms. Andreasen, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for the bills for both a rental car and some sort of U-Haul that were put as a favor in your name, but he agreed to pay for. He kept them for longer than he at least told you he was going to keep them, and you want the money that you were forced to pay as a result of that. I don't know what you say.
I don't owe her anything, man.
Well, that's what you say, but why?
I mean, our whole relationship, you know, I mean...
I don't care about your relationship. Did you use a rental car?
She did get a rental car that I used.
Did you follow my words? Did you use a rental car?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay for it?
No, I did not.
Did you use a U-Haul?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay for it?
No, I did not.
Why?
Because she said she would take care of it.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me.
Well, there is something wrong with you. If you need a friend to pay for your rental car and your U-Haul, there's something wrong with you. What kind of work does Miss Andreasen do?
She's unemployed.
How does she support herself?
I'm not sure.
How do you think she supports herself? You say she was a friend of yours. How does she support herself?
I know that she is getting unemployment or whatever, but as far as I know, I mean...
And what do you do?
She has a business that is something to do with some jewelry or whatever.
So she has a business?
Right. I used to own a construction company, and...
I don't care what you used to. You ate yesterday. How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm unemployed, and I mean...
How do you feed yourself?
Best way I can.
What kind of an answer is that? What'd you need a U-Haul for?
Because I was moving, I had a child on the way, and I needed to leave out of the area that I was in because it wasn't a good area to like raise a child. That turns out the child isn't even mine. But the whole reason that she offered her help was because...
Was she working when she offered to help?
No, ma'am, she wasn't.
Why don't you just pay the bill so I can leave you alone?
I don't owe her the money. I mean,
Why don't you just pay the bill so you can leave her alone? You don't work?
I've given her enough money.
You don't? Well, tell me how much money. I mean, just a second. Tell me how much money you gave her and when.
I don't know. I didn't realize the relationship was on that level. I mean, we were friends.
Give me an idea of how much money you gave her and when.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's
Give me an example.
An example. She pushes a $600 vacuum when she wants to vacuum her house.
And is what you're telling me you purchased that vacuum?
Yes.
When?
I guess like it was around October of last year. I mean, that's just one. I took her shopping and was like, and I told her, you know, get whatever you want. And she helped me fill up. She helped me fill up a shopping cart full of stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't realize our relationship was on that level to where I needed to keep.
What kind of level did you think your relationship was on?
I mean, I thought that we were friends, and when we said we were doing something for each other, then that's what it was.
I have a lot of friends. I never bought them a vacuum cleaner.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Very foolish women, really foolish women, put their credit on the line in order to have a warm body as a male friend.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Suzanne Andreasen says former friend Brian Behar owes for rental car fees, parking tickets, and an unpaid iPhone account. Brian claims Suzanne offered to help him financially.
Now, let me see the bills from the rental car and from the U-Haul.
There's also a couple of parking tickets that he got on the vehicle when he had it that he didn't tell me about.
Did he tell you about any of the parking tickets he got?
No. And there's a $1,000 cell phone bill.
Just a second. You told her about the parking tickets?
Yes, I did. Whenever I first got one of the tickets, the other one I may not have told her about because...
Well, when you got the tickets, did you pay them?
I didn't have a chance.
I don't understand
They were
what
one
you...
day...
Sorry. I don't understand what you mean you didn't get a chance.
Well, when I came out in the car had a ticket on it. I got the ticket, put it in the car, and I honestly lost track of the tickets. I don't know what happened to them or whatever, and that's why they didn't get paid. But I mean, like I said, she said she would take care of it. So she knew I was going through a hard time. She knew that I had the kid on the way. She knew that...
Listen to me. Nobody cares about your troubles, sir, especially me. I don't care about your troubles.
Well,
all I know,
did.
Don't speak when I'm speaking. I didn't take a breath yet. When your friend is unemployed, according to you, and collecting unemployment, that means that they don't have a whole bunch of money.
Or that they don't want to work.
So a friend doesn't take advantage of their situation and take a car that they were supposed to have for a couple of days and keep it for how long? How long did you keep the car?
I don't recall.
A month. Well, let's try a month. When you have no money, you don't rent a car for a month on a friend who has no job.
When they said they would take care of it, you do.
You're an idiot. Because if your excuse is, I thought we were friends and I didn't think that it was a big deal, she said she would take care of it, and you say, I need a car to move from one place to the other, and you know if you keep the car that's on her credit card, there's going to be a big bill, and if you get a ticket because you didn't park in the right space, somebody is going to have to pay that, and it's going to be paid by the person who's got their credit card on the line. You don't say I lost track of it. Idiots lose track of tickets. And very foolish women, really foolish women, put their credit and their credit card on the line in order to have a warm body as a male friend. We understand each other?
Yes.
Very foolish ladies.
Absolutely. Can I say something?
Yes.
I have been renting cars for him for about a year, and he had always paid the bill. And so I had no reason to believe that this situation would be any different.
That's what keeps me in business.
Your Honor.
What? Where's the car bill?
This is for the U-Haul and the...
I see the U-Haul. It's $250.
Yes.
I have it here.
There's the other bills right there.
Just the car. What is this?
That's a bank statement.
I don't want a bank statement. I want a bill.
That's the only documentation I have of the charge on the credit card. It was $2,800.
You'll probably see cash deposits on there as well, where I gave her cash when she needed it.
From what? Did you give her cash?
When she needed the cash, and she was having a hard time different times, and I gave her cash.
Just a second. Give me a date.
I don't know. I don't remember a date. I mean, there were several times.
There was 2 deposits made. The first one was when the same day you dropped off the first rental car, you deposited $1,153, and the charge for it was $1,448. The second deposit
also gave you cash.
No, you
I made
did not.
the deposit, but I also gave you cash.
You
No,
want
you
to
did
talk
not.
to each other, or you can go outside and talk to each other, and then I can dismiss the case.
There was
and move
another
on to-
deposit.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
and move on to my next case. And 1153.
Correct. All of the charges on that, he was the only one that used that card. And so...
Just a second.
Okay.
Wait a second, please. Check paid May 24th to Avis Rental Car. So that bill was $27.98.
And then there was $1,000 for an AT&T phone that he had.
Well, then you should have canceled that, madam. I don't get into phone bills. Before somebody works up $1,000 on phone bills, you cut off the phone. $376. That's for the U-Haul.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
What?
The cell phone did not get canceled because I had excellent credit. He told me he was paying the bill. I asked him every month, are you paying the AT&T bill? And he said yes. And
Call AT&T. I'm not dealing with your phone bill. He owes you for the 2 tickets, the U-Haul, and the difference between what he paid on the rental car and what the rental car cost you. And that total is $1,222. Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This case
Now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Marchetti versus Roja. Step forward, please.
23-year-old gym manager Sean Marchetti II is suing his stepbrother, 25-year-old Dominic Roja, for towing and storage fees for a truck he sold him.
Mr. Marchetti, the defendant is your stepbrother. You claim to have sold him a truck.
Yes.
And because of his irresponsibility, the truck got towed, and you're now being done for all kinds of money because he never had the truck transferred into his name.
Yes.
You want the credit company paid.
Yes.
You want them off your back. And Mr. Roja has what is potentially, if it's true, a legitimate defense. So I want to start with you, Mr. Marchetti. What year truck was this?
This was a 1995 Isuzu.
And when did you sell the truck to your brother?
In July of 2009.
When had you purchased it?
Don't
look over there.
It was actually.
Look at me.
It was actually.
Look.
It was a gift from my grandpa who actually just passed away. So this truck does have sentimental value to it.
Oh, get over. If it had sentimental value, you wouldn't have sold it.
It was to my stepbrother.
Listen
who
to
was
me.
His grandfather.
Let's
too.
not play with me.
Okay.
You're not adorable to me. The truck was a gift. When did you get it?
I got it in probably 2008, January
What are you
2008.
looking over there for? Why can't you look right here? Stand still. Stop moving foot to foot. Look right here. You
January 2008.
Did you title the truck in your name?
Yes, I did.
When?
In the middle of.
Don't look over there. Look over here. In the middle of what?
In the middle of 08, January.
Well, January would be the beginning of 2008, not the middle of 2008.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes? Those are two different things.
The middle of January in 2008.
When did it have to be re-registered?
It had to be re-registered in the beginning of 2009.
Did you do that?
No, I did not.
So January of 09, it was not registered.
Yes.
Had you received any citations on that truck?
Yes. I had a toll violation.
How many?
1 toll violation.
Did you pay it?
No, I did not.
So that there were outstanding violations on the truck at the time you sold it to Mr. Roja.
Yes, but I had told him that when I sold it to him.
Don't tell me what you told him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't believe most of what you say, sir. I think that there's a whole lot more to the story that I'm hearing, and I quite frankly don't have time for it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sean Marchetti II says his stepbrother, Dominic Roja, owes for towing and storage fees for a truck he sold him. Dominic claims, due to Sean's negligence, he couldn't register the truck.
Now, there were outstanding violations on the truck, so it could not be registered.
Unless the ticket was paid, yes. But I had told him. And I put as is on my bill of sale, too.
As is means the truck is sold as is, not that you have encumbrances on it.
When our verbal agreement, he said that
Don't tell me what your verbal agreement was, sir. You have a sales contract?
Yes, I do.
Does it say anywhere in that sales contract that there are outstanding violations on this truck and you cannot register it unless they are paid? Does it say that on that?
No, it does not, ma'am.
Then it doesn't exist. So the truck was towed after you took possession of it.
Yes.
How much did you pay for it, Mr. Roja?
$400.
And when did you purchase it from him?
July 2009.
How long did you drive it before it was towed?
Well, I didn't drive it too often because it wasn't in my name.
How many months did, Mr. Roja, I don't want you to think of where I'm going with these questions. You will be much more successful, sir, as you can see with Mr. Marchetti. If you stop banging, you will be much more successful, Mr. Roja, if you just give me truthful answers. Because, sir, if you don't tell the truth, I'm going to make you look like a fool. Do we understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
How many months did you drive the car before it was towed?
Probably good 6 to 8 months.
So you got your $400 worth out of it.
Yes.
Perfect. And then it was towed.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what it was towed for?
For not being registered
and not having the plates on the vehicle, yeah.
Now, you say, Mr. Roja, that you couldn't register this car despite the fact that you had paid $400 for it because it was encumbered by these tickets. Did you try to register the car?
I did. I went to the DMV.
Tell me what happened when you got there.
Well, went in there, told them I would like to register the car in my name. And
Did you have a bill of sale with you?
I don't remember.
Did you have the title with you?
Yes.
And he had signed it over to you?
Yes.
Great, so far. Now, I believe that. And then you were told that they couldn't register the car because it was encumbered with tickets.
Right.
Did they tell you how much?
I don't remember if they did or not, no.
Was it a lot of money?
It was more than I had, yeah.
Did you call Mr. Marchetti, your stepbrother?
I did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, I called him, let him know that I was upset because he didn't let me know that there were tickets on the vehicle when I bought the car from him, and that it hadn't been registered the previous year, so that was an additional fee that I couldn't afford.
Well, don't you have a registration that says whether the car is up to date in its registration?
Yes, but the original license plates had been stolen, so he was using replacement plates, and so...
Where did he get replacement plates from?
I guess from the DMV.
When did you get replacement plates from the DMV?
My plate was stolen in the summer.
Summer of what?
2008. Basically what had happened is they used those plates for a crime. So they'd give me replacement plates because they didn't want me to keep that same plate number because it was used in a crime.
You sold him the car in July of 2009.
Yes.
Between January 2009 and July of 2009, where was the car?
It was with me until July. It was just parked in front of my house.
You mean you just let it sit there?
Yeah.
You just let it sit there?
Yeah.
And when you purchased the car in July of 2009, sir, was it running?
Yes, it was.
Well, then somebody must have been using the car, Mr. Marchetti, because if you don't use a 15-year-old car for 6 months, chances are the batteries did.
Not this car. This car was a trooper.
$1 for a car that he couldn't register? I don't believe most of what you say, sir. I think you're fudging it. I think that there's a whole lot more to the story that I'm hearing, and I quite frankly don't have time for it. All I know is this. You sold a car that could not be registered. It was towed. That's your problem.
But if I have a bill of sale that says as is, why is it my responsibility?
Because I tried to explain something to you, Mr. Marchetti. You didn't have your listening ears on about 5 minutes ago. The as is part of your contract refers to the mechanical operation of the car, not whether it is encumbered by tickets. Do you understand now? Now, I did tell you that before, and I told it to you twice, and the rest of it, I don't answer.
So the ticket, so if there was one ticket, the bill of sale's out the door and then it comes back on me?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues on the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bloom versus Colby, step forward.
Donald Bloom is suing his daughter's ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Michael Colby, for an unpaid loan to buy a car. Michael claims the money was a gift.
Mr. Bloom, this young man used to be your daughter's boyfriend. Is your claim you loaned him money for a car? He paid you back some. There is a balance on the loan, and he and your daughter are no longer a couple. Mr. Colby says that you did, in fact, give him money to buy a car. It was just that. It was a gift. He did, in fact, give you back some money for some bizarre reason, but he said there was never an agreement to pay you back, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Colby?
Currently, right now, nothing.
Who are you living with?
My parents.
Why are you laughing at that? Is this your father?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
How old are you?
23.
Have you always lived with your parents?
For like the past probably 3 years.
Where did you live prior to that?
On my own.
For how long?
From when I was 17 to about 3 years ago, so.
And what kind of work were you doing from 17 to 20?
Warehouse production.
And when was the last time you were employed?
About a year ago.
Month?
May.
May of 2009?
Yes, ma'am.
And you haven't worked since May of 2009?
Yeah.
When did Mr. Bloom turn over this money to you for a car? In what month?
September.
Of what year?
09.
And at that time you weren't working?
Nope.
No is the answer.
No, ma'am.
What did you need a car for?
Transportation, look for a job, get my daughter back to school.
Get
home.
your what?
For what?
Get your what back and forth to school?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
5.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you start giving him back this gift?
I don't remember when I started paying him back the money, but the reason why I paid him back that $5 was I felt guilty for it.
What made you stop feeling guilty?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald Bloom says his daughter's ex-boyfriend, Michael Colby, owes for a loan to buy a car.
You have this 5-year-old child with him?
No way, no. No.
Thank God.
And with whom does your daughter live?
Half with her mom and half with me.
Well, half with you. We mean half with your father. Because you don't pay rent, because you don't work.
When I was with her, I was paying rent. I was paying $500 to my parents.
Well, how could you pay $500
Because I was
to your
working
parents?
up until the time I broke my hand.
When?
I broke my hand in May of '09.
Why?
So for the last year, from May of '09, well, certainly until September of '09, when he gave you money to buy a car, you weren't working.
No.
You say he was working.
He was working for
Where
Stanley
was he working?
Steamer.
Full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
How long had he worked for Stanley Steamer at the time you gave him the car money?
I loaned him the money in September of '09, so he was working. I mean, my daughter met him about May. I don't know how long prior
May of
to that.
'09.
Yes.
Now we together, sir? So at the time that you got this money from Mr. Bloom, you were working for Stanley Steamer.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what Mr. Bloom says, because he also said that you were giving him back $200 every couple of weeks.
Correct.
Towards this loan, which is why he gave you $2,500, and all that's left is $2,050.
As far as we talked, it was a gift. He never loaned me the money. It was always a gift.
Well, when did you start giving him back this gift?
I don't remember when I started paying him back the money, but the reason why I paid him back that $5 was I felt guilty for it. So.
And when did you stop feeling guilty?
When I stopped paying him, probably a few months ago.
What made you stop feeling guilty?
Because in a way, I felt like I didn't owe him the money, and then.
Okay. So in a way, you felt as if you didn't owe him the money.
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of way you felt that you didn't owe him the money.
Because his daughter had stated she was going to help pay back the money, and it was, like I said, it was just a gift.
No, don't tell me it was just a gift. That's a conclusion. So you didn't actually feel as if you actually owed him the money, even though you had paid him back some of the money, because his daughter said she was going to help pay back some of the money, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the conversation you had with your then girlfriend.
In the beginning, I didn't want to take the money. I was leery on it. She stated
to
that
you?
I could take, yes, to me, to take the money. She would help me pay it back.
Great! Take the money, I would help you pay the gift back, right? No, I'm trying to understand you, Mr. Colby. Take the money, and if you have a problem, I'll help you pay the gift back, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to pay something back, then that's a loan. Do you understand that, Mr. Colby?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I know I was making fun before when I said, paying back this gift. But if you're going to pay something back, it's a loan.
It's true.
Why did you bring your father here?
Because he's been through it the whole time. With all the harassing and text messages. Don's the one that got him involved in it. When it was between me and him, he should have never got my dad involved on it.
What was between the two of you?
The money that he had given me.
And you think he would have given you any money, sir, if it wasn't for his daughter?
Probably.
I wouldn't give you a quarter. And the reason he got your father involved is because you're 23 years old. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Almost the same age as his foolish daughter. And he figured, listen, I need my money back. So since Mr. Colby doesn't live on his own, has no job, he's got a 5-year-old child, his parents cover for him, so they let him move into the house. His parents take care of probably part of the time his daughter, something that they didn't sign on for because you were a little bit stupid. So he figured he'd contact your father to see if maybe your father could be inspired to help pay off this debt. What state do you live in?
Phoenix, Arizona.
They give money for deposits on bottles in Phoenix?
I don't know.
I mean, that's a way of making money. Go out and collect bottles and turn in the money. Go in there, big machines and supermarkets where you cash in the bottles and they give you back $5. You have to do something, Mr. Colby.
It's kind of hard out there. There's no jobs, so I'm trying. Can't say I'm not trying.
There are jobs out there. They may not be jobs that you like.
Maybe, maybe not. There's really none. Not even McDonald's is hiring out there. Where do you expect us to work at?
What happened to the job you had?
If you're 23 years old, sir.
I ended up losing it, sir, because I broke my hand.
Listen
Wasn't
to me.
allowed to go back.
Don't talk to him. You have an option if you're a single person and your parents are foolish enough to continue to subsidize you at your age, but you have a 5-year-old child. Who supports that child?
They helped me with it, but when I had a job,
You don't have a job now.
So.
And a 5-year-old child needs 3 meals a day and snacks.
That's fine. There's food in there.
And school and clothes and medical care and everything else. So my question to you, Mr. Colby, is who supports your daughter?
Her mom and my parents helped me
Just
with
a second. Her mom. Does her mom work?
Part-time job.
Then her mom doesn't support her child. Then probably the state of Arizona is supporting your child.
No.
The good citizens of the state of Arizona. So it seems to me you have to find some way to earn money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. You owe him $2,050. That's all. Step out. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Yeah, it's case number 245 on the calendar in the matter of Downing, Wiedenheft versus Dixon.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, Judge?
Good.
Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Your name is?
Lance Wiedenheft.
This was your girlfriend for a while?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Downing, this was a dear friend of yours for a long time. It is your claim that she has some property that you loaned to her.
Yes, ma'am.
You want it back. And additionally, that she damaged, because she had a tiff with the two of you about something, that she damaged both of your cars. You want to tell me when and where this happened?
Yes, ma'am. On March 13th, Amy was out with her mother, and she came back to the house. She texted Lance saying that she was...
What house did she come back?
My house.
Was she living with you?
Yes, ma'am.
How long had she been living with you?
She actually, in January, she gave me a phone call and said that she cheated on her husband and she was pregnant, and he kicked her out, and she had no place for her and her 2 kids to go. So my fiance and I allowed her to come and stay with us for a little bit to try to help her get her back on her feet. And about a month after she lived with us, she ended up contacting the neighbor next door and moved next door. And
moved next door?
Next door to our condo.
When you moved into the other apartment, who did you rent that from?
I was under the understanding that her boyfriend, Brendan, was part of the condo, like lord or whatever they call it, and I was under the assumption that I could stay in that condo and they were going to protect me and I could stay there for a couple months.
So what you're telling me is you were a squatter in a vacant apartment?
They were supposed to be taken care of.
Listen to me. How old are you?
22.
How many children do you have?
2.
You have a husband?
No.
Did you have a husband?
At the time, yes.
Nobody else is supposed to take care of you, so you were a squatter in an empty apartment.
They were renting it to me.
They were renting it to you even though they didn't own it?
Right.
Now you can stand. Move. You're the fiance?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're part of the homeowners association?
I am on the condo board, yes, ma'am.
Very good. This empty apartment, what was the unit number?
The unit number is 18, ma'am.
And what is your unit number?
20, ma'am.
Who owns unit 18?
It would be an owner of Slogovic. He's an Italian.
He's an Italian.
Yes,
and where does he live?
Fort Lauderdale, ma'am.
So he doesn't live in this unit?
No, ma'am.
Who contacted him in Fort Lauderdale about Miss Dixon moving into his empty apartment?
Miss Dixon stated to us that she had contacted them and gotten a key from him and then
From
moved
him?
in. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Up. Put your hand down. Got it. So Miss Dixon was a squatter.
Correct.
In an empty apartment.
Correct.
That you knew was going to be empty because the owner lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
Sit. You would get to it eventually. Now, how many months did you live in this apartment?
About 8 weeks.
Was it empty of furniture when you moved in?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you sit on?
At the time, Melinda and her boyfriend had extra furniture.
What did you sit on when you moved in?
Their furniture.
What furniture?
Their extra furniture that they had put in storage.
What furniture requires a sofa, a chair, a bed? Name the furniture.
Couches.
Couches. How many?
2.
What else?
That's it. Everything else after that point I had gotten myself.
From where?
Like used furniture stores.
2 couches. What about a television?
The television she had given to me.
I just asked you where you got it from. So you got 2 couches and 1 television from Miss Downing.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you get from Miss Downing?
Little knickknacks.
Knickknacks like what?
Like candle holders and placemats.
What about a bed?
No.
Where did you get the bed from?
I didn't have a bed.
Where did your children sleep?
They had their little
kids' mattresses.
Where'd they get them from?
My mother.
Lance was actually living with her at the time, and she did not have anything for her boys to sleep on. They actually slept on the floor or the couch.
You were living with her?
I still had my own place back up in Stewart, though. I was just staying down there. We were getting in a relationship. I was staying there for about a month, and then things went bad.
What did you sleep on when you stayed with her?
I brought my own mattress down. I had an extra mattress, an air mattress I brought down for us to sleep on. And they slept usually on the couch.
The
kids.
2 children?
Yeah.
Now, Miss Dixon, where are the 2 couches?
When I left the condo, I left them there.
Did you ever come back for them?
No.
What about the TV?
The TV was never... The TV was broken, and I left that.
What did you do with it?
I left it there.
There were 2 TVs, and she damaged one of them, and the second one she did take with her.
No.
Okay. Now, I want somebody to tell me, did you retrieve the couches?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
They, one couch was stained extremely bad.
Fine, so you didn't retrieve it?
Correct.
That's your problem. Now, was your boyfriend living with you, your fiancé living with you at the time that he allowed Miss Dixon to be a squatter in this apartment?
He didn't allow her to stay
he did.
there.
He gave me the key.
Sure he did. Absolutely did. No question in my mind, he did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They took away your children, so you take care of his children when he's working, and your brother is taking care of your children court-placed. Is that what you're telling me? In the state of Florida.
And later today.
You think you're smarter than me?
No.
These idiots think they're smarter than me? Huh?
Who's an idiot?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Melinda Downing and Lance Wiedenheft claim Amy Dixon vandalized both of their cars and refuses to return furniture and clothing.
Okay. When did you stop dating Miss Dixon?
What was it? March 13th.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding that, sir.
Well, I was working a lot, and it was late. I was working, and she called me. She was going out drinking. Within a month, I really don't want to put up with a girl that just goes out drinking without me whenever to bars. So I said, I'm not putting up with this. I'm going to go grab my stuff, and, we'll talk later. And she was, intoxicated or whatever. So I was working. I was done. Go grab my stuff and put it in my car, and then I went next door to their house. And that's when she came back all drunk and mad, trying to call me. I wouldn't talk to her because I don't want to deal with that.
Listen to me carefully. Where were her children?
A babysitter was at the house.
The state has not taken her kids away.
How old a babysitter?
She was 16.
Yeah, she was young.
Doesn't he speak? Sorry. Is there something wrong with him?
Sorry.
What was the name of the babysitter? Do you know?
I don't recall.
Her name was Heather.
Are your 2 children still with you, Miss Dixon?
No, ma'am.
Where are they?
They are with my brother.
Are they court-placed with your brother?
Yes.
And where does your brother live?
In Daytona Beach.
When did the court place the children with your brother?
3 months ago.
Were you court-ordered into any program?
No, ma'am.
Well, what do you have to do in order to get your children back?
I had to do 12 hours of anger management, domestic violence classes, and batterers classes, and I had to take a 6-hour parenting program.
Did you take the parenting program?
Yes, I completed everything.
So when are you going to get your children back?
September 27th.
And who is this?
This is my boyfriend.
Is he the father of either one of these children?
No, ma'am.
Are you living with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
3.
How old?
10, 5, and 2.
Who do they live with?
Us.
Great. So they took away, I just trying to wrap my head around this. They took away your children, so you take care of his children when he's working, and your brother is taking care of your children court-placed. I just get my head around the basics of this. Is that what you're telling me? In the state of Florida. Okay. You want to get to the damage to your car on March 13th?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm looking at him, not you. Go.
Well, on March 13th, like I said, I broke over there, went and got my stuff, went next door, was just relaxing. She kept calling me. I wouldn't answer. Didn't want to talk to her. She was intoxicated. I don't need that. So she texted me saying she was going to mess up my car if I didn't talk to her. So we heard the window break.
Not we.
Well,
you.
Yeah, I heard.
I mean, I just want to know if you didn't hear it, then I'll hear from another witness.
Yeah. No, I heard the window break. Melinda went out front to see what was going on. I didn't want to go out.
Who went out front?
I did.
Melinda.
Okay, Miss Downing, when you went out front, what did you see?
I went downstairs and I saw Amy throwing rocks, and it was hitting Lance's windshield. And she was screaming and yelling, and she proceeded to then attack her mom. And then after she attacked her mom, she came after me. And
what was your mother doing there?
My mother was visiting for the weekend, and I did not attack my mother.
Just a second. Your mother was listen to me carefully, Miss Dixon.
Yes.
Very carefully. Your mother was visiting you for a weekend. Mm-hmm. Where was your mother on the evening of March 13th?
She was with me.
Where had you been?
Me and my mother went out to dinner.
So you and your mother went out to dinner, leaving the children home with Heather.
Right.
Got it. And what time did you and your mother get home?
About 11 o'clock.
That's a long dinner.
We left at like 8:39.
That's a long dinner.
My mom and I haven't spoken months.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
they don't rent you a car with a United States Uniformed Services card, identification of privilege, that you can buy on 14th Street in Manhattan. Do we understand each other?
That's a valid United States military
Do
ID.
we understand each other?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy, Melinda Downing, and Lance Wiedenheft claim Amy Dixon vandalized both of their cars and refuses to return furniture and clothing.
Okay. Can I see an estimate for the glass on your windshield, please?
And I also have pictures of his windshield.
I'd like to see it. Okay. Now, I want to know what damage you claim to your car.
Amy came back on April 3rd and actually keyed the side of my car when she came back to get the rest of the belongings.
Well, tell me about that, please.
We were actually not at the house. We have a video camera set up that
prove that I did it.
Shh,
and
up. When you say you have a video camera,
just like threatening. I don't have actual proof showing that she did it.
She probably did it, but it's very hard to prove unless you bring me the video. Do you understand? Okay. Now, aside from the two couches that I gather are old stained couches, what items do you claim she stole from you?
She stole 2 couches.
No, forget couches.
2 TVs.
Forget TVs.
A side table.
What side table?
And my clothes.
Forget your clothes. What side table?
It was just a side table put in between the couches.
Did you take that with you?
No, ma'am.
That's all nonsense. You owe him $181 to fix his windshield. Do you understand?
I didn't break his windshield.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Sure you did. So you have to pay for his windshield. But that's it. I would suggest that you concentrate your time, Miss Dixon, on getting your children home. From no children to 5 children is a big step. Do we understand each other, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Stand. You have to do what's right for your children. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't there a question in your mind if the state has intervened to take away children? So whether or not this is an appropriate caretaker for your 2 young children?
I know she's a good caretaker. I've been around her.
So the state of Florida was incorrect?
I think so, yes.
Why do you think the state of Florida removed? Do you think that there was a conspiracy with our brother?
No.
Well, tell me why you think the state of Florida...
I think there were some accusations against her that she wasn't being a good mother.
Like what?
That's what her ex-boyfriend or her husband or whatever said, is from what I hear.
You mean you think that the state of Florida is going to remove children based upon accusations from an ex-husband?
Yes.
Has the state of Florida been to your home for a home visit?
No.
So the caseworker is aware, to your knowledge, or unaware, that Miss Dixon is caring for other young children?
I'm not sure. I haven't spoke with her caseworker.
Oh, goodbye, goodbye. You owe him $181. State of Florida is now aware. It's up to the state of Florida. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm ready to move on.
I just hope Amy learns her lesson from everything after this.
Her boyfriend actually handcuffed me and pushed me down the stairs.
I'm a criminal justice major.
Then I'll never hear from her again.
I'm going to be now more aware of what I allow people to come into my home and do.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Castro versus Ahmed, step forward.
Margaret Castro is suing her former friend, Basim Ahmed, for unpaid rental car fees.
Ms. Castro, is your claim that the defendant owes you money for a rental car that you rented in your name for him?
Correct.
All right. And you know him for how long?
Since we were children, we lived across the street from each other.
And from what company did you rent this car for him?
Dollar Rent-A-Car.
Dollar?
Yes,
I'd like to see the contract.
This is a bill and everything that Dollar.
I don't want a bill. I want the contract that you signed for the car from Dollar.
I have it. It's in my purse.
Perfect. Get it.
Yes.
What's your name?
Margaret Castro.
Well, that's not who this is.
Oh, Margaret Machine. I have two last names. I'm married.
Did you sign this?
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to read what it says under additional drivers. What does it say, additional drivers?
There's not supposed to be no additional drivers.
Excuse me?
There's not supposed to be any additional drivers.
That's what it says. You think I'm going to compensate you because you gave him a car when you told Dollar Rent-A-Car that there were going to be no additional drivers, and he doesn't have a driver's license?
Well, when we rented the vehicle, he showed me a valid driver's license, and also I have retaken the car away from him.
I want you to show me your valid driver's license in the name Castro.
It's in my purse. Can I go back?
Yes. Show me a valid driver's license in the name Castro. Yeah.
Can I say something?
No. Not so very good. Sir, you look like you're really going to come out on top on this case. Don't speak.
It's not going to be.
You think you're smarter than me?
No.
These idiots think they're smarter than me?
Idiots?
Huh?
Idiots? Who's an idiot?
Valid driver's license in the name Castro. Valid driver's license in the name, whatever the name on the contract is.
I have a military.
Give it to me. You think you're smarter than I am?
No.
Goodbye. Let me explain something to you, madam. According to your complaint, which I read very carefully, you had an agreement with the defendant to rent a car for him. You rented a car for him, according to you, and he was supposed to pay you for it. And you also told the car company that you were going to be the only driver, whether your name was Castro. And this is not a valid driver's license. This is an identification card. That's different. We understand each other. They don't rent you a car with a United States Uniformed Services card, identification and privilege, that you can buy on 14th Street in Manhattan. Do we understand each other?
That's a valid United States military license.
Do we understand each other? Very good. Goodbye, Miss Castro.
No, but wait a minute.
Goodbye.
No.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
So what happened now?
Out the back door to your right.
Just
That's what
a
happened.
second. Bert, I want to
what
tell...
about the tickets that he
I want to tell him...
And the loan.
Quiet. I want to tell you what happened, sir. You won.
Thank you.
Out the back door to your right.
Wait a minute. What about the loan and the tickets that he owes me?
Pay them.
Judy continues in a moment.
That's case number 241 on the calendar in the matter of Casno versus Salinas.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Casno, facts of the case are relatively simple and not in dispute. What kind of a car do you own?
Wasn't his, a 2006 BMW 325i.
And you brought it to the defendant's shop for the purposes of doing some repairs.
Correct. The vehicle had been vandalized and needed body work.
Brought it to Mr. Salinas' shop, and you left it there. On what date did you leave it there?
The 20th of March 2010 at about 8:15 in the morning.
Is that correct so far, Mr. Salinas?
That's correct.
Then your car was involved in a hit and run.
Yes, Your Honor.
On what date?
The same day.
Do you know what time?
I'm going to say roughly 7:30, Your Honor. I wasn't there. So.
In the evening?
In the evening.
How were you notified that your car was involved with a hit and run?
Well, my wife and I were at home and heard a loud knock at our front door, looked out, and there was a Los Angeles Sheriff's deputy at the door. He demanded to know my name and where my car was, and I subsequently learned that the vehicle had been involved in a hit-and-run accident.
Do you know what kind of a hit and run?
Again, I'm getting this...
Involving a pedestrian and another car?
No, it was another vehicle, Your Honor. I have the driver of that other vehicle in court with me.
Stand up, please. Tell me your name.
Stephanie Delgado.
You were involved in an accident on the 20th of March?
Yes, I was the other driver that hit the BMW.
You hit the BMW?
Well, he was making an unsafe left turn, and I was going straight on Sepulveda. And I guess he was going to get into a car accident with the car in the right lane, but he stepped on he was trying to step on the brake, and once I viewed the whole scene, I tried stopping, but I couldn't. I hit the car, stepped out of the vehicle to check if the other driver was fine. Once I approached the vehicle, it was like gonna flee the scene, so I approached it and it took off with me. So
what do you mean it took off with you?
Like it dragged me.
Car dragged you?
Yes.
How far?
Like less than a block, like around the corner, kind of.
Were you injured?
Yeah, both knees. I had a back contusion, hip contusion, my ankles. I have pictures if you want to see them.
There are also photos of her vehicle.
To my vehicle.
I'd like to see that. Did you see the driver of the car?
Yes, it was a Hispanic driver, and small world, a friend of mine is actually cousins with the driver.
You know the driver's name?
I gave the whole information to my detective that was taking care of my case. So
Did they arrest the driver?
No, they were never capable of finding the driver. I actually have a sheet that states that they were never capable of finding who was a real driver or any information based on the driver.
But you knew who it was, or somebody you knew?
Yes, because my friend had approached me and she told me so.
You can't tell her what anybody told you. Okay. And Mr. Salinas, there was lots of damage done to the plaintiff's BMW. Thank you. You can sit down now. You say it's not your responsibility. I'm ready to hear that. You own the body shop that accepted his car.
Right.
Somehow, his car got off your lot and was involved in an accident.
Right.
So it was being driven in an unauthorized manner.
Yes.
You explain to me why that's not your fault.
First of all, the vehicle, when this guy took the vehicle, I was not in the shop.
I don't care whether you were in the shop or if you're on Mars.
Well, this guy, he doesn't work for me.
I don't care whether he doesn't work for you either.
The only problem that I see right here, it was my fault.
I don't care
not
what you
having
see.
Insurance.
Listen to me. I don't care what you see. You own a body shop.
Right.
You accepted his car for the purpose of repairing it, which is what your body shop is for.
Right.
Once you take his car into your shop, you are responsible for it. Now, I assume you have insurance. In this case, someone got the keys to his car.
Right.
That's as a result of your negligence, either yours or one of your employees.
He was not my employee.
Just a second. Somehow, Mr. Salinas, I believe, sir, that you're confused, and I'm trying to explain it to you. But you're going to have to do something that God really was gifted about. He gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Right.
So I want you to put on your 2 ears and listen with your 2 ears. One way or another, either because you gave someone the car keys or you allowed the car keys to be placed in a place where they could be taken by somebody in an unauthorized manner, it's your fault. You are responsible for the safekeeping of that car and its keys. If a burglar comes into your store and you have the keys locked up in a safe so that you have done everything that you can to safeguard those keys, maybe you could say, well, I can't be responsible because I've done everything that I can to safeguard those keys. I put them in a safe when I left my business. I locked them up. Someone came in with dynamite, opened up the safe, and took the keys. But that's not what happened.
Well, I can say I'm not responsible if anybody breaks to my place and takes a car. I'm responsible not having insurance, but not somebody trying to steal a car in my property.
Listen to me carefully. You were negligent. You or your employee was negligent in...
It was not my employee.
2 ears, one mouth, 2 ears. You or one of your agents left his keys in such a place that somebody got access to them and took his car. You are responsible for that because it's your place of business.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I mean, are you thick or what? I'm telling you, I'm the lawyer.
Right.
Unless you went to law school, sir, and practiced law for 40 years, you have to rely on my judgment. That's why you're here.
And later today,
I was downstairs and I wake up to hearing the mother of my child cursing out my little girl, saying, wait, and she's holding my little girl up by one leg, so just the top of her head's touching the ground because she wouldn't hold still when she was trying to change her diaper.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Casno says auto body shop owner Eric Salinas owes for the cost to repair his BMW. Robert says the car was stolen and wrecked while in Eric's possession.
What else?
There's an additional issue that I have a traffic collision report where the defendant apparently told the investigators that it was his employee that had taken the car.
Listen to me. It doesn't make any difference.
It makes a big difference because I was harassed by the police after that.
It doesn't make a difference. You permitted his car to be taken off your lot. I mean, are you thick or what? Listen to me. Have you ever been to a lawyer?
Yeah.
Just a second. I'm going to try to get it back to its basics to you, Mr. Salinas. What have you been to a lawyer for?
For different reasons.
Did you pay the lawyer money?
Yes, I do.
You paid the lawyer money for their expertise.
Right.
For their advice to you. Mm-hmm. You have never been to a lawyer that's smarter than I am. So what I'm trying to do, this is not a conversation we're having, Mr. Salinas. Right. I'm telling you what the law is. And you keep arguing with me. How stupid you would be to go to a lawyer. Listen, ears, Mr. Salinas. It would be the same thing if you went to a lawyer and gave him $5,000 to represent you in a business matter and asked his advice and he told you and you're having a fight with him. Why would you pay a lawyer to have a fight with them? You're paying them money because you know that they're smarter than you are. I can't fix a carburetor in a car and I can't get a ding out of the door. I would go to Eric because that's your business and that's your expertise.
Right.
This is not a discussion you and I are having. The facts are very simple. It's your responsibility. I'm telling you that as a lawyer.
Well,
that's my listen to me. That's my training.
I understand.
If somebody said to you, brought their car into you and you said, listen, it needs 2 coats of paint and it needs to be buffed out and it'll be good as new. And the person said, no, you can't do it. You have to buff it out 4 times and you have to take the paint off and you have to use a primer on it. You'd say to them, listen, you want to do that? Go to somebody else. I'm telling you, this is my expertise. This is what you have to do to get your door looking brand new. I'm telling you, I'm the lawyer. Right. Unless you went to law school, sir, and practiced law for 40 years, you have to rely on my judgment. That's why you're here. I'm telling you, it's your responsibility. You did not safeguard his car. You allowed the keys to that car to fall into the hands of someone who drove it in an unauthorized way, without his permission, while it was in your custody. The law says it's your responsibility. He's going to answer me again.
No.
He's going to answer me again. I don't understand it. Could I have been nicer? Could I have been nicer?
You did everything.
I did everything I could. I really did everything I could.
For the same reason
I offered to
fix
listen to
the
me.
car for free.
Be quiet, Mr. Salinas.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I told her all I wanted to do was give my little girl a kiss and that I was going to leave.
What did you do?
I tried to get into her room and she...
And what did you do?
I broke down the door.
That's where you go, and you broke down the door.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Casno says auto body shop owner Eric Salinas owes for the cost to repair his BMW. Robert says the car was stolen and wrecked while in Eric's possession.
Now, I don't think that you drove the car that collided with his car that dragged her for a block. I don't think you did that at all. I don't care whether you did it. The car was your responsibility until he picked it up after you fixed it. You're an insurer for that car's safety. And if you, an employee, somebody else, negligently leaves the keys around so that somebody can take it, and they drive it, and they have an accident with it, it's your fault. And if instead of injuring her, it had killed her, she would sue your company, and she would win. And the fact that you may not have insurance is your problem, not my problem. How much it cost to fix your car?
Total out of pocket was $5,161.34.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't got nothing to say.
Well, obviously, I'm glad I was able to get some compensation for my losses.
Mr. Robert talked to the detective, and the detective, they tried to put something together.
I had not had the police harass him. I knew really nothing about it. I could really offer nothing to the police because I wasn't there when the accident happened.
The only thing that I feel guilty was not having insurance at that time, but I'm not responsible for somebody can come and break in.
You got to do the best you can to try to protect yourself as a consumer, and sometimes can't always do everything.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Soletic versus Brodalla. Step forward, please.
Matthew Soletic is suing his child's grandfather, Richard Brodalla, for the cost to make renovations to his home. Richard is countersuing for the cost of a car engine and a broken door.
Mr. Soletic, I assume that you and this lady were in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
And this lady is the daughter of this gentleman?
Yes, ma'am.
And you and this lady have a child together, a girl?
Yes, we do.
So that would make this gentleman your daughter's grandfather?
Correct.
For a period of time, you lived in Mr. Brodalla's home?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Along with your girlfriend?
Yes, I did.
And your daughter?
Yes, and her son.
You lived there from when to when?
From September of 2009 until April 11th of 2010.
And where did you live prior to September of 2009?
I had a house that I was renting in a different part of the city of Crystal.
And what happened to that house?
I wound up losing the house because I couldn't.
You got evicted?
Yes.
So when you got evicted from your old house, Mr. Brodalla took you in?
Yes, he did.
This is your lawsuit. Your lawsuit says while you were living there, you did a lot of renovations, a lot of construction in the house. You want him to pay you back for the materials that you put in the house because he kicked you out of the house after there was an altercation between you and his daughter.
I was not kicked out of the house. I was made to leave by the police. He never kicked me out. He just decided not to.
Somebody kicked you out. The police kicked you out.
Yes.
Because somebody called the police. Who called the police?
I believe it was Jessica, my daughter's mother.
Okay, and you want the materials. Mr. Brodalla says that that was not the agreement. He never told you he was going to reimburse you for the materials. He's got some nonsense counterclaim about some engine that you purchased for him way before you were even living with him. Right, Mr. Brodalla?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brodalla, let's forget about that nonsense, will you please? It's sort of irritating to me.
Ma'am, I actually did give Mr. Brodalla a large sum of money, not the entire amount for the engine, but he gave the money back to me and told me to hang on to it, that he did not need the money, that I should use the money to start my life with what I thought would have been my family.
So how did you do that?
Excuse me? How did I do about how I started my life?
How did you do that? If he gave you back the money and said, I want you to use it to get a start on your life,
to be honest
what did you do
ma'am,
with it?
The money that I had that he had given back to me, I used to invest into a vehicle that I'm still trying to sell to this day. And I spent the rest of it right here.
Just a second. So you used it to invest in a vehicle?
Yes.
How does that start a new life?
Well, to be honest with you, it's hard to convince someone to move out of their dad's house when he pays all of their bills and makes everything so easy for them. It's hard to convince them to move out into the real world and you know, have
let's stop for a moment, sir. What was the rent that you were paying or not paying in the house that you got evicted from? How much rent was your share?
$450 a month.
And how much money did you pay Mr. Brodalla to live in his house?
I didn't pay him.
Listen.
As far as the rent goes, I did not pay him any rent money.
So you paid him nothing?
No, I paid him quite a bit.
What'd you pay him?
I did quite a bit of work in his home for him, along with I offered to pay for quite a few things.
I'm asking you, Mr. Sedalic, what you paid him in rent. The answer is nothing.
Because he told me not to pay him anything.
That's not great. And because you felt as if you couldn't just live there like a bum, because you're a big, strong, strapping guy, you did some projects around the house.
Mr. Brodalla and I had a verbal contract.
No, you
that
didn't.
He was. Yes, we did.
Baloney.
Here, I have proof of it.
Baloney.
Here's a note that Jessica had wrote to her father the night before I wound up needing to leave the house, telling him to give me the money. So I.
Listen to me. Is that a contract between you and the defendant?
No, but
No but. There's no but. A contract is between a plaintiff and a defendant. Show me a contract that exists between you and Mr. Brodalla.
We had a verbal contract.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I'm not the one that's lying about it, Your Honor.
Yeah, right.
It's case number 97 on the calendar in the matter of Taylor versus Tucker.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Won't you folks have a seat? Huh?
Mr. Tucker, you have a driver's license, sir?
Yes, ma'am, Wendy. Yes, Your Honor.
Is it a valid driver's license, and is it current?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has it ever been suspended?
Yes, it has, Your Honor.
How many times?
About 2 times, Your Honor.
For what?
Speeding, Your Honor.
You borrowed Miss Taylor's car.
Yes, Your Honor.
When?
It was February, it was on a Sunday.
Date?
February 28th, Your Honor.
Where were you going with the car?
Just going to hang out with a couple of friends, Your Honor.
Is that what you told Miss Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you were just going to hang out with some friends?
Yes, Your Honor.
You didn't have a car of your own, I assume?
At the time, I do have a car of my own. At the time.
Then? Did you have a car of your own?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Why didn't you take your own car?
Because Miss Taylor came and picked me up the night before, Your Honor. She came and picked me up. She knew I wasn't going to have my vehicle.
Why didn't you have your vehicle? Why did she have to come and pick you up, Mr. Tucker?
Because I wasn't driving where she came and picked me up from, and she came and picked me up.
Explain that to me.
I was actually riding with my brother-in-law and my cousin at the time, and she came and met me at the hotel, picked me up, and took me back to her house.
And you spent the night?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And the next day?
And the next day when I woke up, she had already left the house.
For what?
I guess to go do some shopping or something.
Is that what happened?
I don't recall that, Your Honor.
So she left and took her car?
And took her car, yes, Your Honor.
And then she came back?
And when she came back, I asked if I could use her car to go hang out with a couple of friends. She said fine, she had already handled what she had to take care of, and I told her I'd be back.
What time did you take her car to go and hang out with some friends?
Probably about 12 that afternoon, Your Honor.
What kind of car did Miss Taylor have?
Acura.
What year?
An 08 or 09.
Is that right?
It's an 08, Your Honor.
So where did you go, Mr. Tucker?
Like I said, I went by, visited a couple of friends. From there, I parked the car, caught a ride.
Parked the car where?
I parked the car at a friend's house.
Address?
I don't know the address, Your Honor.
Street?
Street? The name of the street? Honeycutt. That's the name of the street that it was on, you know.
And what's your friend's name? Don't look over there. Look at my eyes. Mr. Tucker, this is going to get worse for you, sir. It's going to get worse.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been interrogated by the police?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will find that an almost exhilarating experience when I get finished with you. Friend's name?
I know his last name. I don't know his first name.
What do you call him?
By his nickname, Your Honor, Shiz.
And what's his last name? And who does he live with?
Right now, I don't know because he moved.
Oh, he moved from Honeycutt.
Yes.
So he doesn't live on Honeycutt anymore.
No, Your Honor.
But you parked her car, her Acura, on Honeycutt.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what did you do?
Your Honor.
So, hey, Miss Taylor, let me have a good time.
Okay.
Did I have a good time?
Okay. Nobody lives on Honeycutt.
Just a second.
Okay.
Just a second. So you parked the car on Honeycutt and you went to visit your friend Scooch.
Shiz, Your Honor.
What?
Shiz.
Yes, that's what I said, Scooch. And
from there, I caught a ride. I rode around with some of my other friends. I parked the car, left the car there parked.
you left the car there.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Caught a ride with some friends. Drove around. Go ahead.
Drove around. We went to a bar. From there to a club. And from there to a hotel party, Your Honor.
And?
And I was not driving. And at the time, a friend of mine was driving. I went back and got Miss Taylor's vehicle.
What's your friend's name?
Tiffany.
Tiffany was driving whose car?
Her car.
Tiffany's car.
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of car does Tiffany have?
A Pacifica.
A Pacific?
A Pacifica? It's a van, Your Honor.
Okay, and where did you go with Tiffany?
Went to a sports bar, shot some pool, went to a club, went and picked up some more friends.
What time was this now?
This is all day, probably from...
Well, from 12 noon. So what time were you finished? You were in a bar, you were in a club, you were in a hotel, you were in a motel, you were with Tiffany in her van, then you went to another club, then you went, shot some pool. That's a very, very busy day. You know, it would take me at least 2 weeks to do all those activities. Keep going.
Yes, Your Honor. And then from there, we ended up at a hotel, a little party with just friends.
That was 2 hotels you were at in one day.
No, Your Honor, just one hotel.
Well, you told me you were at a hotel earlier in the day. I'm getting there, Bird.
Take your time.
Just actually amusing myself.
Yes, Your Honor, it's the same hotel, Your Honor.
What happened to her car?
To the car. Then from there, we went back, got the car.
Got whose car?
Miss Taylor's car.
So you mean I listened to all this nonsense for nothing? Because at some point, after you went clubbing and moteling and hoteling and pooling and scooching, you went back and you got the car.
Went back, got the car.
And?
Drove it to the hotel, Your Honor.
Drove it back to the hotel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And?
And from there, I must have consumed too much alcohol because I ended up passing out in the hotel. When I was awakened, my cell phone and the car keys was missing, Your Honor.
So Scooch must have, or one of his friends, must have taken your car and had a big accident in it, caused a lot of damage. And your defense is, I was drunk and I don't know what happened. That's your defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's your responsibility.
But, Your Honor, the insurance paid for the car. I immediately, when I found out the car was missing, I immediately called.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
It's your responsibility. You took her property with her permission and behaved in an irresponsible way with it. Why do I say that, sir? I just listened to a litany of events where you were driving, partying, drinking, fooling around, drinking some more, hanging around some more. And then, according to you, you got back in her car and took it someplace. You're responsible, whether or not you actually had the accident in the car, which is something actually I believe you did. So does she.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
After she bleached and damaged my clothes, she sent a text message picture to my phone, which I showed a friend of mine.
Show me.
I don't have that phone no more, Your Honor. That's why I brought my eyewitness.
And later today.
You see, you're trying to think ahead of the game, sir. You'll never be ahead of the game. All you have to think about is answering my questions truthfully. Do we understand each other, sir?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Melanie Taylor says ex-boyfriend Siobhan Tucker owes for car damage, rental car fees, and emotional distress. Siobhan is countersuing, claiming Melanie bleached his clothes.
You borrowed the property. You did not return the property. It's your responsibility. You can go get Scooch and go find the phantom who stole the car. Do you understand? Now, your car was severely damaged.
Yes, Your Honor.
Nobody was ever charged.
No, Your Honor.
Did your insurance pay for the damage?
Some of the damage, Your Honor.
Your insurance had a deductible?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the deductible?
$250, Your Honor.
So that you paid for?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor.
What?
It didn't cover the bumper. It had additional damages to the bumper and the taillight, and my insurance company would not cover it, and I'm not sure why.
Well, I don't know either. Sue the
I know
insurance
why, Your Honor.
company. Why?
The insurance company, because they had already mailed her a check for those damages, and she didn't get it repaired, and she spent the money, Your Honor.
Well,
that's why.
That may be, but then take that up with your insurance company. He's certainly responsible for your deductible. Anything else?
I have receipts, Your Honor, showing that I paid for the bumper and the
I don't
taillight.
care. That's a problem that you have with your insurance company, not with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Has nothing to do with the accident.
Yes.
Now, you have a counterclaim, Mr. Tucker.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Did you bleach his clothes?
No, Your Honor.
Did you bleach or damage any of his clothes?
No, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I have an eyewitness, Your Honor. After she bleached and damaged my clothes, she sent a text message picture to my phone, which I showed a friend of mine.
Show me.
I don't have that phone no more, Your Honor. That's why I brought my eyewitness. And she also admitted it to my eyewitness.
Well, your eyewitness can't tell me what she saw on your phone, and that's hearsay.
I didn't know that, Your Honor.
That's why you come here. You get educated.
Okay.
When did she return the clothes to you?
I never received.
Never got them back?
Nothing. I left with the clothes I had on my back. I had to repurchase clothes.
Well, that's a good idea, because I'm sure that Miss Taylor didn't think you were going to go, put your hand down, fooling around in a hotel and a motel and with Tiffany and everything else when you said, I'd like to go hang out with some of my friends. You think she figured that that's what you were going to do all day and all night?
We've known each other for a while, Your Honor.
I'm asking you, do you think that that was in her mind, that you were going to be going fooling around with Tiffany in her car? I wouldn't think so.
No, Your Honor.
I don't think so. So did you buy yourself some new clothes?
Some. I replaced some.
Perfect. Good. You owe $250. That's all. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I believe that I should get way more than $250 for all I went through.
This is basically just an attempt.
Just emotional stress.
To not really get the money back for the car because the insurance did pay for the car.
He abandoned me for a month and a half.
It's like revenge, like the same with the clothes, how she destroyed the clothes.
Then he came back on my job April the 23rd and explained to me what happened.
He actually busted the window out my house. It was all types of things.
He said that he was sorry and that he promised that he would pay back the money.
You know, that's another story, so we're here for the car.
He didn't pay it back. I haven't received a dime nor child support.
About the day that the police got called?
Sure. I was downstairs and I wake up to hearing the mother of my child screaming and cursing out my little girl, saying, pardon my language, but quit. And she's holding my little girl up by one leg, so just the top of her head's touching the ground because she wouldn't hold still when she was trying to change her diaper.
So what did you do?
I became upset and I told her.
Tell me what you did.
I looked down and I see dirty diapers sitting all over the floor, and I picked up the diaper and I said, will you throw this in the trash? And I threw the diaper at her. And in between her cursing me out and yelling at me, she decided to run into her room and close the door. At that time, because of altercations we had had in the past, I decided that I needed to leave. And in the course of doing that, I told her all I wanted to do was give my little girl a kiss and that I was going to leave. But, of course, you know, that wouldn't happen.
What did you do?
I tried to get into her room and she...
And what did you do?
I broke down the door.
That's where you go and you broke down the door. Now, I assume she has an order of protection against you, Mr. Sedalik.
Yes, she does.
And was that an order issued with your consent, or was there a trial?
It was with my consent.
Now, you also have visitation with your daughter.
No, I do not.
You don't have the right to see your daughter under supervision?
I've seen my little girl one time.
That's not what I asked you. I said, do you have the right to see your child under supervision?
Yes.
Who gave you supervised visitation?
A guardian ad litem.
Guardian ad litem was, you know who the guardian ad litem is?
Yes.
Represents the child.
Yes.
Not her. Now, when are you supposed to see your daughter?
Saturdays and Sundays from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock.
And where are you supposed to see your daughter?
At my next door neighbor's house.
Do you go there every Saturday and Sunday?
This last weekend I was not able to because my daughter was not there.
Goodbye, sir. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out, sir. Out the back to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Welliver versus Nichols, step forward.
Lynn Welliver is suing her former friend, Craig Nichols, for a truck loan, plus interest, and for making physical threats.
Mr. Nichols, let's start with you, sir. The plaintiff was a friend of yours. You had been friends for a while, according to what I read in your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
She was married and recently divorced. When the plaintiff divorced, she and her former husband had a landscaping business, or were trying to start a landscaping business. She decided she wanted to continue with that business. You were not employed gainfully at the time, or at least only marginally employed at the time, so you thought you might go into this business with her.
Yes, ma'am.
So far, is that a reasonable statement?
For the most part.
That's all I need for the most part. According to the plaintiff, she made a loan to you so that you could purchase a truck to be used in the business. And you purchased a truck that you put in your name. So far, is that correct?
Everything except that she did not loan me the money.
It is your claim that she made an investment in the business because the truck was to be used for the business. That's what you say.
Which is not entirely true.
That's what you say here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. And then the business fell apart.
It did.
Who has the truck?
I do.
You have to sell it if I find that that's what happened. Because if she made an investment in the business and you did or did not put in any money in the truck.
I did put money in the truck,
You
but
did?
not
Just a second.
willfully.
Hey, listen, you're never going to get one step ahead. I know that you're thinking about what you're going to say now and how this is going to come out. All you have to think about is answering my questions truthfully. Do we understand each other, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Either she made a loan to you or it was an investment in the business.
Actually, it was a loan to him,
Hey,
like 100%.
One more time, and I say goodbye to you, and the case is over.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lynn Welliver says former friend Craig Nichols owes for a truck loan and for making physical threats. Craig claims the truck was a gift.
How much money did you put into the truck?
Roughly $1,000.
Good. And how much money, according to you, did the plaintiff put into this truck as a business investment?
She paid $4,000 for the truck.
So you put in $1,000, she put in $4,000. So far correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you had the truck?
Roughly a year.
Now, what happens to a business, Mr. Nichols, when the business goes south? What do you think happens to the assets of the business?
Normally they would probably be liquidated.
Correct. That's very smart. That's what happens with the assets of a business. And once the assets of a business are liquidated, Mr. Nichols, what happens to the proceeds of that liquidated merchandise?
I would assume they would go to pay off the debts that the business had standing.
Or the investors. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you have, according to you, a small interest in that truck. Because according to you, you put down $1,000 as your investment in the business. And she put down $4,000 as the investment in the business. Now, why would you think that you get to keep the truck?
Well, the truck was actually a gift that was given to me
That's not
for
what you
personal
said.
and business use.
That's not what you say in your answer. You see, you're trying to think ahead of the game, sir. You'll never be ahead of the game. You want me to read what you wrote in your answer? What you swore to?
That's not necessary, ma'am. That's not necessary.
So, now, either she made a loan to you or it was an investment in the business.
Actually, it was a
I'm
loan
not
to him, like 100%.
One more thing, one more time, and I say goodbye to you, and the case is over. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
One more time. Now I've warned you twice.
Okay.
It is either one of two things, Mr. Nichols. It was either a loan for the balance of the truck, or it was an investment in the business, which is what you swore to in your answer. Which one was it?
Well, initially, it was an investment in the business, but when the business didn't go anywhere, I assumed that I would pay her the rest of the money for the truck because she is my friend, and that would be the right thing to do.
I'm not interested in what you think is the right thing to do, sir. If initially it was an investment in the business, it has to be sold. Now you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
It has to be sold because that was an asset of the business, and she gets a piece of it, and you get a piece of it. Now do we understand each other? I believe you when you say that the truck was used for the business, and the business did not succeed, and therefore the assets of the business have to be liquidated and shared among the investors.
With all due respect, Your Honor, the truck is in my name, so I feel like I can do whatever I want with it.
Well, I'm going to cut an order to the Department of Motor Vehicles to put her name on the title. You understand me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you can figure out what you're going to do with this truck, because then she's going to own a piece of it. As a matter of fact, I may direct that the Department of Motor Vehicles transfer title to her, and then she can sell it and she can give you back your piece. We understand each other now, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You get it?
Can I please
You'll
speak?
get no. And to me, was the truck used for the business?
No, 100%. It was never used for the business, not once, because the
I'm
business
cutting an
never
order
happened.
that you have title to the truck, take it, sell it, and take back your investment and give him his portion.
What needs to be done is I need my money back for the loan because the truck is now not worth what we paid for it.
What we paid, you're absolutely right. That's what happens when you liquidate assets.
But the truck was never ended up being used for business. It was only...
That's what it was purchased for.
It was only an idea in the beginning.
Listen to me, my dear. That's what the order is going to be. You're going to get exactly what you're entitled to, which is a return on your investment. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You do understand. I know you understand. That's what's going to happen. The truck is going to be turned over to you. You can sell it unless he wants to sell it. And if he wants to sell it, the two of you can cooperate in selling it. Put it on Craigslist, advertise it in a newspaper, sell it. You take back your little piece that you invested. She's going to take back a much bigger piece because that's what she invested in your business. We understand each other?
I understand you.
Perfect. That's
I don't
all.
think you've heard the full facts of the case, though.
Well, if he listen, he has a choice.
Because the
he
facts,
has
I mean,
he
it
has
shouldn't
his
be
choice.
based
Listen to
upon
me.
business.
Listen to me. It's his choice. If he wants to give you the money that you claim was a loan, which I don't think was a loan. I think it was a bit. He can do that. My order is going to be to motor vehicles to turn the title into your name so that you can sell it and recoup part of your investment in your landscaping business. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's case number 255 on the calendar, the matter Pasker versus Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Pasker, the defendant is your former girlfriend.
Indeed.
And it is your claim primarily that she damaged your car. You also say she's responsible for the loss of your prescription eyeglasses. Miss Johnston says that you placed her in danger, which is why all those things happened. So I'm going to you, Miss Johnson, because I read his complaint. I read your answer. So I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Why don't you start by telling me the date of this incident?
It was April 15th this year.
I'm listening.
It started off by...
Keep your voice up and look at me.
We were arguing because he lied to me about an ex-girlfriend of his.
How did you find out about the lie?
He actually told me by accident.
What did he tell you?
He told me that he spoke with her.
He said, I spoke to my ex-girlfriend.
Well, he told me where she worked, and I asked, well, how did you know where she worked?
And he said?
He lied. He said, oh, someone told me. I heard it through someone else. I said, that's not true. I told him to stop lying because I knew he was lying. I could hear it in his voice.
And where were you when you had this conversation?
I was on break at work.
And where was he?
I think he was just at home. I'm not really
So you
sure.
were talking to him on the telephone?
Yeah.
So you were arguing?
Yeah, I just basically kept trying to get it out of him. Like, you're lying. Don't lie to me. I'm not stupid.
Okay, so that's a very lovely conversation you're having on the phone at break from work.
Yeah.
Next!
And after that, I got off the phone and went back to work. He said we'd talk about it later. We had plans to go shopping together, so we went to talk about it then. And after I got off work, he met me at my house, and we got in my car. We were arguing some more.
No, he wasn't arguing with you. You were arguing with him.
Well, we were arguing with each other. We were arguing back and forth.
You were saying, stop lying to me, and he says, I'm not lying.
Well, at this point, he was telling me why he talked to her. Like, at this point, he confessed to talking to her.
So then he confessed that he talked to her?
At this point.
Just a second. And what did he tell you was the reason that he was talking to her?
He felt that he just needed to get it off his chest. We had just found out I was about 5 months pregnant at the time, and this is an ex-girlfriend, serious relationship. He wanted to let her know about the baby.
So far, is that right?
Correct.
Go.
We were arguing in the car back and forth. He was telling me his side of the story. He started getting into details about his feelings for her and why he felt like he needed to let it go. And I didn't want to hear about his feelings at the time. I just wanted to know why he called her, and I didn't need the details about his feelings.
Go ahead.
He told me to let him out the car. I let him out the car.
So now you're fighting, and he said, stop the car. I want to get out of the car.
Yes.
Because I read these papers very carefully that the two of you submitted.
Okay.
You stopped the car and let him out. Now the argument is over. Let's go.
I didn't want it to end like that, so I turned my car around and I told him to get back in the car. Come on, let's figure it out. Let's talk about it.
He was tired of arguing with you.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to get back into the car.
No, he didn't.
And he did not get back into the car.
No, he didn't.
Right, because he had had enough arguing. He didn't want to fight with you anymore. He wanted it to be finished.
Yeah.
You weren't finished.
Well, we actually...
You weren't finished.
No, I wasn't finished at all.
Right. At that point, you weren't finished. Keep going.
I got to my house. He was walking. It was a long walk.
He was going to where?
He was going back to my house to get his car.
Because that's where he left his
car.
So he was going to his car. Go ahead.
I stayed outside my house. It was getting dark. I kept texting him and calling him to make sure he was okay and make sure it was he was walking for like an hour and a half, it seemed like. Once I saw him pull off, he had been drinking at the time, so...
Once you saw him...
Get his car and leave.
He got into his car, and he left your house.
Yes.
So now the argument is over.
Yeah, it's over.
And you're 5 months pregnant, and it's dark. So what do you do?
He had been drinking, and because although we were arguing...
When was he drinking?
He had got a couple of drinks when he was out with his friends before he came to me.
So that was before he came to pick you up. And now he's had an hour and a half walk back, according to you, to the car. So whatever couple of drinks he had are finished, out of his system. So now he gets in the car and he drives away. Go ahead.
Well, I followed him, and...
You followed him, and what happened? You followed him to where?
I didn't know where he went. I called him because when I was following him, he almost crashed like 3 times. And
so you're following him, you're tailing him in your car.
Yeah.
So you were waiting outside for him in your car. And he gets in his car, he's driving, you don't know where. Ultimately, he has to stop.
Yes.
Where did he stop?
I didn't know. I called him, and I told him that I didn't want to argue with him and that I just wanted him to give me his keys so he didn't get hurt. And he agreed, and we met downtown.
Met downtown where?
In Columbus.
He agreed to give you the keys to his car, so you drove to downtown Columbus?
No, he agreed to meet me.
No way.
He agreed to meet me.
He agreed to meet. That's better. He agreed to meet you. Where did he meet you?
He was at a bar in the parking lot.
He drove to a bar and went in.
Yeah.
Not with you.
No.
You were outside.
Correct.
You follow him downtown. He goes into a bar.
Well, I didn't follow him downtown.
Yes, you did. You told me you were following him. Now, at some point, you may have lost him, and he told you where he would be, but you were following him.
Yeah, I was.
Now we're going to stop with you, and now we're going to Mr. Pasker, because now the scene is set. How long had you been in the bar, sir, before you saw her?
I had been at the bar for a good 5 to 10 minutes.
Now, Mr. Pasker, you want to tell me what happened when you were in the bar?
When I was at the bar, I received text messages from her saying she was in the parking lot, she was by my car, and that she wanted to talk.
Go ahead.
She told me she wouldn't leave until I came out and talked to her. So I was like, okay, I'll go talk. Went outside to talk to her, and it was the same story. I tried talking to her. She wasn't having it.
Were your voices like your voice is with me now, or was she yelling, or were you yelling?
Well, at this point, the argument was a little heated, so there was yelling.
He was yelling. I was not yelling. I was crying.
Just a second. You should have stayed home.
I should have.
You're smart enough to be 5 months pregnant at age 21.
I should
Then you're smart enough to stay home. You were looking to either get him to come home or for a confrontation. That's why you followed him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She picks up a rock with 2 hands and throws it at my windshield while I'm in the car.
How does windshield get broken?
Actually, his story is all mixed up.
How did his windshield get broken?
I threw the rock because he was attacking me.
And later today,
he continued to be a thief, according to you. And you let him. And you let him. Yes, you did. All you have to do in 2008, when you find out that he's a thief, is change your PIN number.
Well, that happened.
That's very interesting.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Pasker III says ex-girlfriend Whitney Johnson owes for denting his car hood, smashing his windshield, and throwing away his glasses in a fit of anger.
Go ahead.
So the argument kept going, and it started to turn really irrational. It got to the point where there was no point for me to even try to communicate. There was no communication. She wasn't accepting it.
I got it.
So I told her I was done. I walked away. I started to walk back to the bar. I have a keychain that has a car alarm that vibrates when my car is disturbed. It started going off, so I walked back out to my car. My car door was open, but she parked her car around the other side of the parking lot. So I closed my car door and I go back to the bar. So I'm at the bar for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I just go back out to see if she's still there. I wasn't having a good time, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did go back out there. And when she saw me, she started laughing at me. I went up to her, and I told her to leave. We got into an argument again. She punched me in my chest, and I pushed her. And that's when she pulled out her pepper spray. And I told her at least twice, don't pepper spray me. Do not pepper spray me. And she pepper sprayed me. So at this point, I turned around. My eyes were burning. I was wearing glasses so I could still see. And I know this wasn't the right thing to do, but at this point she had tried to destroy me verbally and even physically. I turned around and I swung at her.
Not the right thing to do.
Not the right thing to do at all.
When you swung at her, did you connect?
I really don't. I have no recollection of connecting with her.
He did.
Where?
In my back, twice.
Well, you swung. She says you swung at her on her back, so she must have been turned around.
Either that or turning. I don't know. Like I said, I have no recollection of connecting with those punches.
Okay, go ahead.
So my glasses fall to the ground. She picks up the glasses, she throws them across the parking lot. So I go and I snatch her keys and I snatch her phone. And
Where did you snatch her keys and phone from?
Her hand.
They were both in her hand?
Yes.
Where was the pepper spray?
You know, it may have been on the ground. I never thought about that.
It was in my hand. He took it from me.
Well, you were carrying your phone and your keys in your other hand?
Yeah, I was trying to leave.
Just don't tell me what you were trying to. Just answer my question.
Yeah,
you should have left.
I had it in my hand.
There wasn't a question of leaving. You shouldn't have been there.
I shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have been there. Right. Go ahead.
So at this point, I snatched her keys and her phone as collateral for my glasses, and I told her she wasn't going to
As collateral for your glasses, which are now across the parking lot.
Yes. I told her she wasn't going to get them back until she went and gave me my glasses. So I did. I pushed her, told her to get my glasses. She goes over in my glasses and throws them over the building. So at this point, I'm just, there's nothing else for me to do, so I walk away. She picks up a rock, she follows me, she throws it at me, she misses me.
That is not what happened.
Don't speak now.
It hits my car. It caused a dent in my hood. I get to my car, she picks up another rock and she follows me. I chase her around my car because she's coming towards my car with this rock. She runs to my passenger side window and tries to bust it with this rock, but it didn't break. I have Herculite windows. So she runs off. I get in my car. I'm blinded at this point. I put my key in my ignition. I'm trying to turn my car on. She picks up a rock with two hands and throws it at my windshield while I'm in the car.
And did that break the windshield?
It busted it. It didn't shatter, but it froze the glass.
What do you mean it froze the glass?
I have pictures here if you'd like to see.
I'd like to see it. Got it. You have an estimate for a new windshield?
Yes, I paid $304.
I'd like to see it. How does windshield get broken?
Actually, his story is all mixed up.
How did his windshield get broken?
I threw the rock because he was attacking me.
He wasn't attacking you if he was
No, he was.
Listen to me. He wasn't attacking you if he was in the car.
He wasn't in the car.
So you threw the rock.
He was behind me.
Just a second. So you threw the rock at his windshield because he was attacking you.
And I was trying to get away.
And you threw the rock at his windshield because why?
To distract him.
To distract him. Good. Then you were responsible for his windshield. $304 because you wouldn't have been there were it not for the fact that you were hysterical, angry, jealous, hormone-filled, 5 months pregnant, and wanted him back.
I was there because to make sure he was okay, not to argue.
No way. No way. That's what you said in your answer. And I'm telling you that's a no way. Because when you followed him in your car from your house when he got into his car, after he had walked, according to you, an hour and a half to get to your house, he was not drunk.
He sure drove like it.
He was not drunk.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
How do you think he got your PIN number?
He got my PIN number from times when we were in the car together. He was in the driver's seat. I hand my card over. That's how. I didn't think he would remember it. I trusted him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Pasker III says ex-girlfriend Whitney Johnson owes for denting his car hood, smashing his windshield, and throwing away his glasses in a fit of anger.
You have a bill for your glasses?
I do. I also have the bill for the dent on my hood from the rock that she threw.
Yeah, let me see it.
I never threw a rock at his car. I picked up a rock, and he took it out of my hand and tossed it to the side. There was never 2 rocks thrown.
There were 2 rocks thrown.
No.
I believe there were.
weren't.
Did you have your baby?
I did.
Boy or a girl?
Girl.
When was the last time the plaintiff saw her?
Maybe a few days before we came here.
Where did he see her?
At my house.
Pay child support, sir?
No, not yet.
Why not?
A paternity test is pending.
Did you take a paternity test?
We did. We weren't married at the time of conception, so I thought it was wise.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But you took the paternity test?
Yes.
And you did? Mm-hmm. And your daughter did?
Yes.
And you're waiting the results?
Yes.
Great. You owe him $1,078. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was in my face, and actually I took it out, and he said, "Oh, really? You're gonna pepper spray me?"
You know, she's a sweet girl, and that's the first time I've seen her act that way.
And I told him, if you make me, I will.
I do feel that her and her hormones have something to do with it.
Yeah, I got arrested.
She also has to learn how to deal with her anger.
I'm not worried about it. I know he's the father of her.
I'm pretty sure that's my daughter. I know it's my daughter.
We could just be parents, civilized parents.
We're going to raise a wonderful daughter.
कैसे आप सब लोग उम्मीद है खैरियत से होंगे। वेलकम टू अनदर व्लॉग। दिस इज मी आजा स्केटर एंड दिस इज काशी स्केटर गाइस। आज हम लोग आए हुए हैं मरी अयूबिया नदिया गली नदिया गली क्योंकि हम नीचे गिरने वाले हैं और बिल्कुल भी शूज कंट्रोल में नहीं है। लाइव स्नोफॉल हो रही है गाइस, देखें जरा।
तो गाइस मैंने शूज इसलिए पहने हैं क्योंकि मेरा एक कंटेंट
और एक जगल भी होती है बस शूज पहने की
होती है ना कि शूज पहने वो शूज में मेरे पाँव इतने गर्म है।
शूज में पाँव गर्म है, मेरे पाँव बहुत ठंडे हुए हैं गाइस, बहुत ज्यादा। और अभी हम लोग यहाँ से गाड़ियाँ हमने वापस मोड़ ली हैं क्योंकि यहाँ से आगे जो रास्ता है वो खतरनाक होने वाला है काफी ज्यादा। तो लाइव स्नोफॉल हो रही है यहाँ पे। हाँ, वापसी पे रास्ता मुश्किल हो जाता है। मानो लोग वो सारे काफी पीछे रह गए हैं गाड़ियों में, वो सारे। तो अभी
ये देखें हम स्नोफॉल की स्केटिंग कर सकते हैं।
स्नोफॉल में भी स्केटिंग कर सकते हैं। कर कैसे रहे हैं ये भी देखें। मुश्किल है स्केटिंग करना बहुत ज्यादा स्नोफॉल में गाइस। तो ये है कि टोटली हम लोग पैक और कवर होके आए हुए हैं। गाड़ी पार करके पैदल थोड़ा सा आगे जाए। आपको टेंशन हो रही है मेरी?
जी टेंशन हो रही है।
क्यों टेंशन हो रही है?
ये जगह अक्सर खाली होती है।
हाँ,
बर्फ से सिर्फ होती है। जब बर्फ पड़ता है नीचे चला जाता है।
फिसल जाऊंगी।
तो रोड किस लिए है?
वो देखें व्यू गाइस। बिजली भी चमक रही है, साथ में हल्की हल्की बारिश भी हो रही है।
ओके आ जाओ आस्ते आगे। इस साइड चलो, मैं प्लीज मेहरबानी करके इस साइड चलो।
अच्छा ना, नहीं कुछ होता मुझे।
अच्छा नहीं कुछ होता है।
हाँ, आगे से गाड़ी आ गई एकदम। आप बताओ।
चलो वापस चले, वो ढूंढ रहे हैं हमें।
चलो वो लोग हमें आवाजें वगैरह दे रहे हैं तो वापस चलते हैं यहाँ से। गैस अभी हम लोग यहाँ से वापस आ गए। वो देखे वहां से हमें आवाजें दे रहे हैं, बुला रहे हैं वापस। छोटे बच्चों की जगह छीट के लेके जा रहा है मुझे। छोटा बच्चा हो गया?
नहीं, छोटे बच्चों की तरह साइड में चल रही होती है।
हाँ तो ठीक है ना,
रोड की साइड में चलना पड़ता है।
क्यों?
क्योंकि आप गिर गई तो फिर मैं क्या करूँगा?
मेरा मास्क नीचे हो रहा था। मैं गिर गई तो क्या करोगे?
इसलिए तो मैं कह रहा हूँ मिड में चलो।
मतलब गाइस मेरे हाथ से फोन भी नहीं पकड़ रहा जा रहा। लेकिन आज हम लोग आए हैं हमारी लाइव स्नोफॉल, देखिए बहुत मजा आया। बहुत सारे लोग आए हुए हैं यहाँ पे, ढेर सारे लोग, और इंजॉय कर रहे हैं। इसको देखो जरा, यहाँ से तो हो जाएगी ना। यहाँ पे गाड़ियाँ फंस चुकी थी, बहुत मुश्किल से गाड़ी हमने वापसी के लिए टर्न की है। और अभी जो हम लोग दोबारा वापस गाड़ी में बैठने लगे हैं क्योंकि अभी जब वो देखो ज़रा, वो लोग डांस कर रहे हैं, नाच रहे हैं। हाँ, इंजॉयबल मोमेंट है, काफ़ी ज़्यादा मज़ा आ गया गाइस, बहुत इंजॉय किया है, बहुत मज़ा आया है। ये देखें ज़रा इसे। हाँ जी, हाँ जी। अच्छा गाइस ये देखें लोग कितना फन कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे के साथ, कितना मजा आ रहा है मॉल रोड पे। ये मानो स्केटर है। हेलो मानो, कहाँ आई हो आज? मरी में कहाँ आई हो? मरी में मरी आई हूँ। मरी में मरी आई हो? अयूबिया आए हैं। तो गाइस ये सारा मोमेंट था, ये सारे सीन थे।